The following is an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports.
After losing Game 2 and home court advantage to the Kings, it seemed like deja vu all over again as Seattle's vicious postseason cycle appeared to continue. And the first 3 quarters of the first ever playoff game in Arco Arena did nothing to shatter the illusion. But the Sonics came alive in the fourth quarter to steal the Kings' thunder and pull within 1 win of a series victory. Tonight, Seattle will try to accomplish something they haven't done in 3 years, advance beyond the first round. But it won't be easy.
There's no easy way out. There's no shortcut home. There's no easy way out. Giving it can't be wrong. No, there's no easy way out.
The Sonics and the Kings in a Game 4 showdown next on TBS. It's another full house at Arco where Kings fans hope this is not the playoff finale. Sacramento looks to force a decisive Game 5 with the Sonics tonight on TBS. We welcome you to our Atlanta studios as the first round drama continues. Here on the edge of our seats, Ernie Johnson, Cheryl Miller, and Golden State's B.J. Armstrong. We do have some suspense on this night. How about the Houston Rockets, the reigning champions, trying to put away the Los Angeles Lakers? This game is being played right now on TNT, and it's 50-44. The Rockets hit 9 of their first 10 shots in this game. The Lakers have come back at them, forced with elimination if they don't win it. It's a 6-point game, about 4 minutes to go in the first half. Earlier tonight, we still don't know who the Magic will play in the first round of the playoffs because Atlanta blew a chance to close out the Indiana Pacers. At the Omni, Indiana wins it 83-75 as Rick Smits goes for 17. Which brings us to the question now of how these teams react. First, BJ, take Atlanta with a chance to close down, you let it slip away.
Yeah, Atlanta has to be disappointed in a little bit after going up there and playing so well in Indiana to come home, have a chance to close the series out and not get it done. On the other hand, Indiana, they're feeling really high right now. They're walking around saying, hey, we have a chance. We dodge the bullet, sort of say, we can go back home and close this thing out.
They might also be saying, Cheryl, hey, maybe Reggie Miller will come out and play on Sunday in Game 5. Think this is a possibility?
Well, I know he has been shooting, and he still has double vision when he releases the ball, so that seems to be a big problem right now. But I've watched the last 4 games, that competitive fire just burning him up, and I know that if there's any way humanly possible for Reggie to be out there, don't blink an eye, he'll be there.
I think he's ready to lose the shades and get the rock. Coming up here on TBS, get set for a wild scene in Sacramento. The Kings trying to force a Game 5 of the Sonics, a win away from getting out of the first round. Dick Stockton, Chuck Daly, Dick vs. Ace on the case.
I cannot believe I'm going to this game. Come on! Game starts in 20 minutes! And here we go! Oh my... Woo! I'm coming! What is in there? He's looking good! Let's go.
Be a fan, not a fanatic. Look your best in NBA Authentics apparel from Lee Sport, officially licensed by the NBA, NFL, NHL, and Major League Baseball. Lee Sport, the brand for fans like you.
Weeding again, eh, Bob? Huh? Why not do it once, do it right?
Why's your head in the ground?
I'm going to watch Roundup kill these roots.
Hey, this is Spike's area.
Bob, Roundup can be used where kids and pets will play and breaks down into natural materials. Since Roundup kills the root, what's not coming back, Bob?
The weed?
You betcha, Bob. Come on down and take a peek.
Can I squirt one?
Sure, Bob.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
So what's the big surprise?
Knicks tickets.
American Express?
I got a little proposition.
Whoa! Hey, you got my ticket!
Think again, my friend.
Hold it!
American Express, the official car to the NBA.
I'd have gone to the moon for these. Tell me about it.
For the Sacramento Kings, desire could not stop the Seattle Sonics' torrid run to end Game 3. And the Sonics desire nothing more than the elimination of the Kings and finally leaving the first round behind. Arco Arena is loud and boisterous again tonight in support of their Kings, who will lead the crowd and more to stay alive in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. The Sonics lead 2-1 and can wrap it up and move on with a victory tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Chuck Daly and Dick Versace. And this series has hardly been the cut-and-dried series that people had anticipated. The Kings have not been the pushovers people anticipated. But Chuck Daly, you have to be impressed by the way the Seattle Sonics came from behind with their defensive pressure and their great bench play to win the pivotal Game 3.
Well, there's no question their bench played a major part. They simply wore down the Kings, along with the fact they executed and they played a full 48 minutes.
Now, the Kings probably played their best game of the series in a losing effort, but there's no question they're going to have to solve some things if they're supposed to keep this series going.
Yeah, they're going to have to solve some problems, particularly a trap that is used about 20 or 24 times. Here's an example. They double-team Tyus Edney right there. He swings the ball to the wing. The ball is out very high, which allows the defense to recover. Goes to the corner. Now they match up. Look at the clock. Only 16 seconds now to get a shot off. So now they're going to have to do a lot of one-on-one. And they think they can solve the problem. We're not sure.
You know what's interesting in this series, Chuck, has been the odyssey of Shawn Kemp. Now, in the first game of the series, he did not play. He was suspended. He had 21 points, 8 rebounds, but a career-high 9 turnovers in Game 2 in a losing effort. Foul trouble in Game 3. Did not have a good game. What about Shawn Kemp? Which one will show up tonight?
I think we're going to see a real coming out of Shawn Kemp. I think he's going to perhaps play his best game. They're going to try to get him involved, I'm sure, early. But he's the kind of guy, he's such a physical specimen, such a great player. You won't keep him down another night.
You won't keep the crowd down either. They are truly the sixth man for the Kings. Will it be enough? We'll find out. So it'll be the Sonics and the Kings. Game 4 coming up from Arco Arena in Sacramento in just a moment. Once again, ladies and gentlemen.
The NBA playoffs on TBS are brought to you by Hyundai. See the all-new Elantra today. It's more car. By Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. And by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. This Bud's for you.
Introducing More, the all-new Elantra. More hip room. More leg room. More shoulder room. More power. More agility. More comfort. The Elantra gives you more of what you like than Civic, Sentra, Escort, or Corolla. And oh yes, more headroom than ever. The all-new Elantra from Hyundai. More car.
Climate is right for change. People don't want someone coming out of left field, and they sure don't want somebody who plays too far right. Griffey's in the center, perfectly positioned.
In this country, it's the bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. We're behind. We need Junior. We need a hit.
Pennsylvania, key state, not a good state for Griffey. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, both National League teams.
We've had an actor. Why not a center fielder?
If you can hit an Oral Hershiser slider, there's no reason to believe that you can't hit welfare reform.
They've got their elephants, they got their donkeys. We got our moose.
Man, that Ken Griffey for president thing's a straight up sellout. Nothing but a big marketing scheme.
This is not, I repeat, not a marketing scheme.
Don't you have to be 35 to be president?
Well, that's what the Constitution says. I mean, if you're going to pay attention to that kind of stuff, yeah.
Arco Arena with the Kings being introduced for Game 4. And the lineups for tonight's game. Deadlift Shrimp, Sean Kemp, Irvin Johnson up front for the Sonics with Hersey Hawkins and the point guard Gary Payton. Billy Owens, Ryan Grant, and Olden Polynice. Polynice has played big in this series with Mitch Richmond and rookie Tyus Edney at point guard. And right now, let's check in with Dick Versace.
For the Seattle Supersonics, they're upset. Upset that they only had 2 fast break points in Game 3. Hersey Hawkins told me that George Karl said in the locker room, let's get out, let's push the ball, and let's especially get our guy, Sean Kemp. Let's make it a Sean Kemp party tonight. On the other hand, for the Sacramento Kings, Gary St. Jean knew what happened in the waning moments of that game. They did not handle the trap. He said they're prepared to run the proper countermeasures tonight. It won't happen again. Back to you, Chuck and Dick. Thank you, Dick, and it'll be interesting to see if they can run without the basketball because they have been severely out-rebounded in the first 3 games, but they did manage to win the game, and they're up 2-1.
And George Karl, who told Sean Kemp Thursday is his night, and just about everyone on the Sonic team gave Sean Kemp the encouragement as they are out to rebuild his confidence, which has to be a little bit shattered. He didn't play badly late in the game despite the frustration of being in foul trouble, but he still wound up with only 7 points.
I think psychologically they know that they need Sean Kemp going to further series, and they need his ability, so they want to get him perked up in this game, plus the fact they're going to need him to win this game.
And the Sonics really need to win as quickly as possible. They can't afford to wait for a 5th game because you've got to get rid of the early round opponents as quickly as possible because you know it's going to be a long haul.
And particularly them with the problems they've had over the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, they're looking to get out of the first round for the first time in 3 years. So the stage is set. The officials tonight, Steve Javy, Eddie F. Rush, and Ron Garrettson. The Sonics in green and the Kings in white. 454th consecutive sellout. They have never had anything less than a sellout since the Kings moved to Sacramento from Kansas City. And we will jump it up again. Question for the Kings, who had the lead till the 4th quarter. Will they avoid the fatigue that affected them down the stretch?
Well, Gary St. Jean indicated they were probably going to go a little deeper, a little bit longer, but I don't know if they're going to be able to afford that. This club, Seattle, this might be one of those games where they could get very methodical and play with a certain amount of confidence because of where they stand.
Hersey Hawkins hits a 3 to start the game. Hawkins, of course, with the big 3-pointer with 1:04 to go last game to clinch the victory in a game in which the Sonics got great mileage out of their bench hitting the 3-point shot. Olden Polynice has the shot blocked by Sean Kemp. And here comes Detlef Schrempf handling the ball. Finds an open Gary Payton. He goes for 3 and hits. So the first 2 shots are 3-point baskets for the Sonics, who jump out in front 6-0.
And the Kings executed very well, but Polynice went up very softly, got that shot blocked. A good idea. It looks to me like the Kings need more emotion even early in the game right now. Their emotion isn't what it was earlier in this series.
Ryan Grant is fouled going to the hoop and will go to the line. Foul is against Irvin Johnson. Ryan Grant, one of those players on the Kings who Gary St. Jean would dearly love to see emerge. He is about 6 points less than his season's average, averaging 8.7. His scoring has been down, rebounding has been up, but they need more from Grant in the forecourt if they're to hang in there.
They need production, and he's got to go against this front line, and he's had a problem with it. Size, he can't explode over him. He hasn't been able to get his shots, and he's playing more minutes than he did in the regular season. 30 in the regular season, 32 in the playoffs. This often happens to very good players.
6-1. Kings still looking for their first field goal. A little more than a minute gone by in the first quarter. Hawkins is guarded by Tyus Edney. He has a big height advantage on Edney. Kemp works his way in and lays it in. So Sean Kemp, the man they're going to early, gets the basket, and it's 8-1 Sonics.
In all fairness to Kemp, he got in foul trouble in the last game, and the previous game was his first game back in over 7 or 8 days. I don't think he was basketball ready at that point.
And that's a good point. And then, of course, foul trouble in the last game, so he really has not seen a lot of action. Here's Grant trying to produce on the front court. This is the turnaround in the lane. 8-1 in favor of Seattle. Off to a hot start as they found they did in game number 1. Kemp double team. 9 on the shot clock. Schrempf working against Mitch Richmond, and a bad pass inside. Picked off by Edney. Here's Mitch Richmond at the other side. Could not hold on to the pass. Edney trying to get it to Polynice, is deflected out of bounds. Last touch by the Sonics.
Watch Sean Kemp, gets the ball, quickly gets to the baseline, spins right here. Help coming, too late. Easy basket for Sean Kemp. If he gets that kind of move and he's that quick in the post area, the Kings are going to have problems.
Kemp is shooting only 43% from the field in this series. Grant working his way in and lays it in. So if Kemp is the go-to guy early for the Sonics, unquestionably Brian Grant has that role for the Kings. Here's the bounce pass to Irvin Johnson. It goes, and the basket counts, and the foul. And that quiets the crowd in a hurry. Irvin Johnson, who's played the fewest minutes of any Sonic who played in Game 3, only 16 minutes, will go to the line to complete a three-point play. Billy Owens with the personal.
As these series go on, and you lengthen them, the team that is the favorite, the better club, seems to rise a little bit more. And the club that's the underdog, they have to play with so much emotion, and the emotion wears out over a period of time. And I think we're seeing that in Sacramento right now.
He's pushing foul as Mitch Richmond hit the deck. And the personal against Hersey Hawkins, his first. And Chuck, you have to wonder whether the Kings, who really had it in their grasp with a 9-point lead going into the fourth quarter, they feel that they gave it their best and lost a key game at home.
Yeah, I think probably they did. They're going to have to try to recapture that. That's hard to do once you come to the floor. That has to be done prior to that.
Irvin Johnson on the block. And the Kings will inbound. Gary St. Jean, who's kept his team kind of calm, has not gotten caught up in the first playoff appearance in 10 years here in Sacramento. Last touch by Seattle, it is still the Kings ball. They have 15 seconds to attempt the shot. Houston leading by 7 at halftime over the Lakers, trying to eliminate LA. And Indiana sends the series with the Hawks into a deciding 5th game on Sunday. Grant tries to save it, and he can't. And the Sonics will take over the possession, leading 11-3.
Well, the Kings are going to have to make a defensive stand right here. They're going to have to get more serious, get a lot tougher, no second shots. They let these kind of things happen. It's a problem.
Sean Kemp and the Sonics are perfect from the field, 5 for 5 to start this game, and lead by a score of 13-3. And Gary St. Jean's Kings, who are only 1 for 5, call a quick timeout as this crowd at this point has been taken out of the game. 13-3 Seattle early here in the first quarter.
Introducing more hip room, more comfort, more than Civic, Sentra, Escort, or Corolla. And oh yes, more wagon. The all-new Elantra wagon, even more car. Presenting more wagon.
More interior volume than Saturn, Escort, or Corolla.
The all-new Elantra wagon, even more car, at a special introductory price. Choose the Elantra wagon or sedan. Either way, you're traveling in more style.
Enter the Mission Impossible sweepstakes only at Foot Locker. You could go courtside with TNT or TBS, home of the NBA playoffs. Then watch for Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, coming May 22nd.
Scotty behind the line. Scotty drives right inside. Oh, yeah! Oh, what a play. Rockets by 4. Sal Austin. LA out of the corner for 3. In it!
Hopper gives it back. Ewing with the slam. Roll the highlight reel. Oh, yeah. This is incredible. How sweet was that? Welcome to the playoffs.
Friday night on Larry King Live, actress Sharon Stone is shedding her sexy image for a gritty portrayal of a woman on death row. Sharon Stone, Friday night, 9 Eastern on CNN.
13-3, the Sonics lead here in Game 4, but let's take a look back and bring you up to date in the series. In Game 1, played in Seattle, the star was Gary Payton with 29 points, although the Kings had it down to a 7-point deficit in the fourth quarter. And then the stunning upset in Game 2 at Key Arena in Seattle, and it was Mitch Richmond, the Dream Teamer, who came alive with a playoff career-high 37 points as the Kings won to even the series at 1-1. And then the scene shifted here to Arco Arena, and it was the veterans like Frank Burkowski, Sam Perkins, and Hersey Hawkins who hit the big threes to give the Sonics a come-from-behind victory and a 2-1 lead in the series. Following the timeout, Tyus Edney with the ball, Mitch Richmond driving the hoop, wide open is in the corner. Is Grant, and Grant hits to make it 13-5. So Grant starts out hot with all 5 points for the Kings, and an offensive foul has been called against Sean Kemp, nullifying the hoop. Kemp's first of the game. Kemp got into deep foul trouble early in the game, and now he picks up his first here in Game 4 with under 8.5 to play in the first quarter. Edney looking inside. Edney had a whale of a game in Game 3, and a foul called against Gary Payton, his first.
Here's Sean Kemp. Hopefully we can take, there's the bangs. Picks up the fault, bangs into Richmond and picks up the foul.
Edney throws up an air ball from the baseline, and here come the Sonics leading by 8. All 5 points by the Kings have come from Brian Grant. Voluntees kicks it away, and a new 24-second clock. Sonics really turned it up a notch down the stretch, trailed by 9 after 3 quarters on Tuesday night. And that may have left its mark on the Kings. Kings the 8th seed in the West. Payton to Hawkins. And Brian Grant had the rebound, and it was knocked out of bounds. Let's check in with Dick.
Gary St. Jean was amazingly calm in his first time out. He told his guys, let's shake off the bad start. He was all business, diagrammed a couple of plays and said, hey, you got a long way to go. On the other hand, George Karl said, hey, keep working the post-ups. Back to you, Dick and Chuck.
Brian Grant misses from the perimeter, and the rebound by Hersey Hawkins. That's what makes Gary St. Jean a good coach with this young team. And Irvin Johnson has his shot blocked by Brian Grant, but still into the hands of Hawkins. Here's Kemp working against Grant, going in strong. Sean Kemp, devastating stuff on the hoop, and again a 10-point lead for Seattle.
Shows you what he's capable of doing, coming all the way from outside, powering through there and jamming that home. A tremendous specimen physically, and if he gets his opportunities and gets his catches, a very, very dangerous player.
And a good defensive play by Kemp, who fronted the postman Brian Grant. A runner by Gary Payton. And Olden Polynice with his first rebound of the game. Polynice coming in, averaging 13 boards. Edney did not give Grant a good pass, but it's last touched by Detlef Schrempf, so the Kings still have the ball.
Watch Sean Kemp, top of the circle, going right, goes right by Grant, goes right up over Polynice, and really nails a dunk. Oh, like a train.
Mitch Richmond with a runner, foul. Sonics claiming that there was a charge, or the foul should be on Mitch Richmond, and Irvin Johnson picks up his second personal foul. Johnson hasn't played all that much in the middle for George Karl's team, as he's gone with Perkins and Burkowski, other big men off the bench.
Yeah, Johnson is one of those guys. He plays somewhat limited minutes, but roughly 20, 25 a game.
Mitch Richmond hits the first free throw. Richmond played all 48 minutes in the last 2 games for the Kings. And that's one of the things that Gary St. Jean has to watch tonight, the fatigue. In fact, Richmond and Edney played all but 1 minute of the second half.
They really wore him down the other day. You could see it coming with about 10 minutes to go. Better saw the second half. They start dragging, getting back in transition. Goes from there.
Good play by Grant on the steal. Here's Edney. 8-point lead for the Sonics. They've led all the way in this game. Billy Owens leaves it for Olden Polonese. Owens, offensive rebound, but a foul is called against Owens. A loose ball foul against Billy Owens.
Owens working to get inside one-on-one. They were able to get a good shot for Olden Polonese. He could not knock it down, but showing a little bit more signs of life, and they've got to do it on the defensive board. Don't give up second shots.
That's a second personal on Owens here in the first quarter. Kemp down low. Polonese and Grant double, leaving Schrem open up at the top for three. Detlef Schrem attempting a three. Hawkins and Payton hit threes to start the game tonight for the Sonics. Billy Owens drives in and gets the basket.
Billy looked like he was out of control there, but was able to get the basket. He looks like he wants to attack every time he gets the ball.
And a trap by the Kings at midcourt. And a foul called against Hersey Hawkins. His second personal foul, and for once we saw the Kings trapped at midcourt in the series.
That's one of the first times, and the only time that we've seen it, it was out of context because it was not by design. Here's the steal on the other end. Edney gets the ball, pushes up floor. Here comes Billy Owens. He gets by Johnson, goes right at Detlef Schrem. Detlef Schrem did not want to pick up the foul, scores the basket.
Edney misses the free throw, and here's Sam Perkins, who led the Sonics with 17 points coming off the bench and had to shoulder a lot of the burden with Sean Kemp on the bench with foul trouble as Irvin Johnson goes to the bench with 2 fouls. 1 out of 2 for Tyus Edney and a 5-point lead for Seattle. Gary Payton working against Mitch Richmond, who fights through the screen. Perkins with 5 on the shot clock, looking to pass. Schrem off balance, misses. And Hawkins with a follow-up. Great play by Hersey Hawkins in the right place at the right time as time was running down on the 24-second clock.
So disappointing when you work that hard over the time of the shot clock and then give up a simple second shot. Second shots hurt, particularly tonight.
17-10. Mitch Richmond drives the baseline, gets the basket, and draws the foul.
Yep.
And 3 on Hawkins.
There's Richmond working the baseline, going right through the defense, going strong, scoring. And all of a sudden, Seattle's starting to pick up fouls, and the Sacramento Kings starting to come alive, showing a little bit more confidence. That's one of the reasons Gary St. Jean is doing a lot of cheerleading with this club. Wants to make them feel good about themselves. Stay in the game. You're at home. Stay excited. Play good defense. Don't give up second shots.
Hawkins to the bench with 3 fouls, replaced by Vincent Askew. It's 17-13 following Richmond's 3-point play. He has 5, as does Brian Grant. Here's Gary Payton, strong to the basket, knocked away, and here's Schrem. Sam Perkins misses from downtown, and the Kings down by 4. They were down by as many as 10. Billy Owens misses a jumper, and now quick, a 3-on-1 break. Schrem behind the Payton, lays it in, and the Sonics get an easy fast break basket. Quickly back Edney. Pace is furious here in the first quarter. Richmond feeding Owens, knocked away by Askew. Fine defensive play by Vincent Askew in his 7th year from Memphis State. Askew misses from downtown, and little Tyus Edney at 5'10", if he is 5'10", comes out of the pack.
All right, here we have the Sacramento Kings, who tonight look like they're attacking the basket. Not quite so methodical. Think they need to be, however.
Schrem, alley-oop, Kemp. And Sean Kemp now, 4 for 4 from the field, has given the Sonics a 21-13 lead.
Quick shots, bad shots, turnovers allow the Sonics to run and get golden opportunities.
Kings turned it over the first 2 games by an average of nearly 25, only 8 turnovers. They protected the ball well on Tuesday night. And once again, the Sonics lead by 8 with 3:23 to go in the first. Ryan Grant on a fine feed from Mitch Richmond, and Grant, out of the chute fast, has 7 points.
Every time they've run that pick and roll, they've been very successful at getting very good shots.
Kemp defended well by Grant. Tyus Edney takes it himself, and the reverse layup by Edney once again brings the Kings to within 4.
And Grant is walking back up floor already, hoping for a timeout, and he got one. Watch Tyus Edney. He's looking at the basket. He knows where he's going all the way. He was not thinking pass off. He was going to get the glass. 21-17.
Introducing More, the all-new Elantra. More hip room. More leg room. More shoulder room. More power. More agility. More comfort. The Elantra gives you more of what you like than Civic, Sentra, Escort, or Corolla. And oh yes, more headroom than ever. The all-new Elantra from Hyundai. More car.
At AutoZone, most of our customers are folks who like to work on their cars themselves. But the ones who come in most often are those who work on cars for a living. Guys like Ed Graven. Now, Ed's garage is in Ogden, Utah, where most of the time you'll find him pulling an engine or sliding under a car. And just about every day, he drives past a half dozen other parts stores on his way to AutoZone. Because Ed knows that when it comes to getting the right part for the right price, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
You're no stranger to the sunrise. You know dedication is keeping a promise to yourself. You do what you dream about. You're going to Atlanta. What do you wear? Champion, outfit of the U.S. Olympic team.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Sean Kemp off to a hot start. 4 for 4 from the field and a couple of spectacular moves.
Here's Payton and the Sonics on the run. Cross court, Detlef Schrempf sees Kemp. Beautiful pass, easy slam.
For the Kings, Michael Smith has come in. And Lionel Simmons. So Owens goes out of the game, and Lionel Simmons will do a lot of the ball handling. Mitch Richmond, Lionel Simmons, Brian Grant on defense, along with Tyus Edney. The Sonics, perfect early, have struggled lately. Perkins and Payton with Schrempf, Kemp, and Askew in there for the Sonics. 2:42 to go in the first quarter. Kemp with a turnaround, and he remains perfect from the field. 5 for 5 and 10 points in the game.
We figured he had to show up tonight, and they're really going to him. They ran a pick and roll, then swung it back to top, dumped it inside, and when he gets his back to the basket, the defensive player there's no chance to stop his elevation.
Here's Michael Smith going baseline, too far under the basket, and coming out of the pack is Payton with a lead pass for Askew. A little bit too much did he lead him out of bounds, but it is still Sonics ball, last touched by the Kings. And Nate McMillan will check in for the first time in the game. McMillan has been brilliant from downtown, 6 for 8 from three-point territory to go along with his aggressive defensive play.
Both clubs liberal substitutions. Gary St. Jean is going to try to stay in the game, does not want to get caught late in the game with his guys too fatigued.
And Sharunas Marciulionis, who you pointed out in Game 3, only 4 minutes in the second half, had 12 points, but a spectacular Game 2 in the lineup for the Kings. Askew with the layup, Kemp fighting for the offensive rebound, but it'll be Kings ball. Sonics. 23-17, the Sonics in front.
Marcellonis with absolutely no confidence in the first game. Came back, had a big second game, and then Gary St. Jean decided not to go to him. They had the big lead. Let's see how he plays tonight. He was tentative in the shooting area. See how he is tonight.
St. Jean said he'd use Simmons and Marcellonis a lot more than he did in the previous game, and he's already getting results. Lionel Simmons from the baseline brings the Kings to within 4. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Perkins working it around Smith. Great defensive play by Michael Smith. One of those players who have not gotten much recognition in his second year from Providence. Here is Smith offensively, finding Simmons open from the corner. And now the Sonics come back and a chance to narrow the lead to 2, but Seattle has it knocked away. Marcellonis with a steal, but couldn't keep the ball, and it goes back to Seattle.
One of the advantages the Sonics have is that they push the ball so quickly. Payton gets inside your defense, and then they have a lot more shot clock to work with.
Brian Grant goes out of the game. He leads the Kings with 7 points. And Mitch Richmond also leaves the game. Here is Kemp. Out to Askew. Richmond scored 5 points while he was in there. Tipped away and a turnover. That's the 6th turnover by the Sonics. Aggressive defensive play by the Sacramento Kings, who trail by 4. Simmons and Marcellonis in the backcourt. Billy Owens back in the game with Olden Polynice and Michael Smith. Owens pulls up. And the Kings, with 2 opportunities to narrow the gap, have missed 2 shots. And once again, the lob pass, Payton to Kemp. Kemp is 6 for 7 officially from the field, and a 6-point lead for the Sonics.
And 2 of them with no range at all because they were both lobbed. He's getting out on the break, and they're making the Sacramento Kings pay.
Lionel Simmons driving the baseline. Basket good and a foul. Lionel Simmons, once a number 7 pick by the Sacramento Kings. His production has gone down each year, but a big play here.
Drives the baseline, goes up strong, gets it up on the glass, knows where to put it, up on that corner. No one could get to it.
Foul is on Vincent Askew. The Sonics are in the penalty. Lionel Simmons, 1 for 2 from the line in the series. Brings the Kings to within 3, and that's the closest they've been since they trailed by 10. And the Kings had 1 foul to give, and Olden Polynice commits it right there. That's his first.
Commits it deep in the backcourt. Not sure that Gary St. Jean wanted him to pick one up there. Rather have him do it in the lane.
Or someone else pick up that foul.
Yeah, exactly.
You may need the big guy. And his defense down the middle later on. Final seconds of the first quarter. Vincent Askew misses a 3, and that'll do it. And the Sacramento Kings come back after the early deficit. However, Shawn Kemp off to his best start of the series, 12 points. And after 1, the score is 25-22 in favor of the Seattle Sonics.
Thursday Night Heroes continues with Sylvester Stallone in Rocky IV. Tonight, following the NBA playoffs.
Brooks and Dunn talk trucks on TBS.
We call these cowboy Cadillacs, but they strap 625 horses under the hood, baby.
Yeah, you got one heck of a metal rodeo there, pal.
The Craftsman 200, Saturday, 3:35 Eastern. Turn to TBS.
Some people say I've got too much on my mind. Movies, music, toys. Correction. There's only one thing in my head. The championship. The championship. 'Cause I got 10 fingers and no rings. And I love jewelry. That's what's on my mind. This is my planet.
You got room for a brother on your planet.
Dulux Indiglo Nightlight. With new smaller styles, we have them for women of every stature.
Stihl, maker of the #1 selling brand of chainsaw worldwide, also makes a full line of trimmers with enough power to handle almost any size job. It could be one of the more useful tools you'll ever own. Available in Stihl territory, starting at $79.95.
And welcome back to Sacramento, California, the state capital of the Golden State in downtown Sacramento. Proud to see the Kings back in the playoffs. First time in 10 years and their first playoff win the other night in Seattle since 1981. Frank Burkowski, who had played with Sacramento, in the lineup now, perhaps the big hero of game number 3, burying 2 3-point shots in the fourth quarter. 50% shooting for Seattle, 40% for Sacramento. Michael Smith working against Burkowski into Marshallonis. 3-point lead for the Sonics, tipped away by Billy Owens. And it's still Seattle's ball, or Kings ball. Here's Dick Versace.
Gary St. Jean's concerned about Sean Kemp getting open in transition. Reminded his guys he wants the first big man back to pick up Sean Kemp. Then he turned to his players and said, each of you take the first open shot that you get. Back to Chuck and Dick.
Polynice misses the shot. Long pass down to Burkowski, but the Kings get back, and the Sonics set up.
One of the things that the Sonics are doing, they're so good defensively. They forced your non-ball handling players to handle the ball. There's a turnover by the Sonics, however.
Burkowski threw it right to Marshallonis. And Lionel Simmons. Gary St. Jean's going to his bench early here in this game number 4. Good feed to Owens from Simmons. That was a great low bounce pass in the middle.
Yeah, it's interesting what Gary St. Jean said to take that first quick shot, and they've been so effective when they have slowed down and executed.
Smith called for the foul at the other end, but let's see Owens inside.
Here's Owens working back to the basket. Nice little left-handed shot. Once you get to the front of the rim and you get the defensive player on your back, you are going to be very effective. You're impossible to stop.
First 2 minutes of the second quarter, and Sam Perkins driving the baseline, but Olden Polynice got a piece of it. Here's Marshallonis in the lane. Wide open is Simmons for 3, and he's got it. Lionel Simmons, who is a 37% three-point shooter, and on the steal, Marshallonis gets it back, feeding Simmons, and traveling, called in the lane by Simmons. Nonetheless, the Sacramento Kings getting the lead for the first time in the game, 27-25, and the Sonics will counter with Detlef Schrempf back in the game.
Marshallonis just made one of the great steals you'll ever see. Payton was coming full speed, took it right out of his hands the other end. Unfortunately, they turned it over walking with the ball.
Sonics have been outscored 8-0 in the last 2 minutes. Burkowski with a 2-point basket.
And he's shooting 40% from 3. He just hovers around the top of the circle, waiting for that wide open shot, and he was instrumental in getting the win the other night.
Yeah, George Karl said Frank Burkowski frankly came out of nowhere to help us. Simmons coming right back off the mark, and Detlef Schrempf with the rebound. Tied at 27. Little less than 3 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Schrempf off balance hits. Schrempf coming in averaging 16 in the series, scored 16 points on better than 50% shooting Tuesday night.
Poor matchup, transition, wide open. You can't let a player of Detlef Schrempf's caliber get those kind of shots.
And Michael Smith drives the baseline and draws the foul.
Take a look at this particular play. There's McMillan right here. Here's Detlef Schrempf. Too late. Owens was down there. There he goes.
The last foul is on Askew. Timeout.
The NBA playoffs. Spurs, Suns, tomorrow at 9 on TNT.
Big jobs need big muscle, we thought. So we built an engine with the power of 10 cylinders. A V6 should have V8 power, we thought, so we designed a multi-valve V6. A car should be as quick as it looks, we thought, so we built an engine that pounds out 450 horsepower. In fact, we spent so much time thinking about engines, you can almost hear the wheels turning. The new Dodge.
Well, Grady, we think you're ready for the outside. Thank you.
You're not kidding.
Time for a crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery Butterfinger Blast.
Crispity!
Have a Butterfinger Blast from Nestle. And now you can have a little Butterfinger Blast or a lot of little Butterfinger Blasts with bite-sized Butterfinger BBs.
Gravity by Foot Locker. Of all the laws of nature, you are my least favorite.
It's not your fault you exist, but gravity.
You are no friend of mine.
You do not belong in my house. Though you show up every morning.
I defy you, Gravity. You are not my obstacle.
That grin you see, that's me knowing I will beat you.
If only for an instant.
Even if it's just for an instant.
Foot Locker, where it all begins and gravity ends.
TNT playoff coverage continues tomorrow at 9 Eastern when the San Antonio Spurs and Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns square off in a big Game 4 matchup from Phoenix. That's tomorrow night on TNT. Michael Smith going to the free throw line. He averaged more rebounds than anyone in the NBA for players who did not have any starts. He averaged 6 rebounds. He only had 1 off the board in Game 3 after 8 rebounds in Game number 2. And the Kings are going to need his play off the bench, off the glass tonight. Smith to the line for the first time in the series. 38% free throw shooter during the regular season, misses the first.
Although in this series thus far, he's averaged about 4.3 rebounds. You get closer, minutes are about the same as regular season.
Well, his percentage is above 38, 1 for 2 in the series, and he brings the Kings to within 1.
And a roar from the crowd. They're very aware of his foul shooting problems.
Askew finding Schrempf inside. Simmons is defending Schrempf. The double team and the quick passing. Good rotation by Sacramento, but Burkowski hits another 2. Frank Burkowski, who was 5 for 6 from downtown, moving in a couple of inches in this Game 4.
I would think they'd get up on him and move him somewhere, not let him just stand there and take warm-up jumpers.
Marciulionis off the mark. He struggled in Game 1. Did Sharunas 0 for 6. And then, of course, a big Game 2 on the road against the fans who were booing him. He didn't have a happy time of it when he played with Seattle.
He's got a tough matchup down there with Detlef Schrempf. He's got inches on him. And now we're going to see an illegal defense.
That is the first one called against the Kings.
Marciulionis on the last possession was open earlier, hesitated. He's not confident with that shot.
Shawn Kemp back in the game for the Sonics. He scored 12 points in the first quarter for Seattle. Seattle leading by 3. Nate McMillan with Burkowski, Kemp, Schrempf, and Askew. And they're not wasting any time going to Kemp, but a good defensive sandwich by Michael Smith and Olden Polynice, and a foul is called against Nate McMillan, who argues with Ron Garretson.
And George Karl very upset at the previous call. Let's take a look at it. Kemp working. You know, he used an elbow to get in there. I don't think he has a complaint. He had the elbow high. He could have been called for an offensive foul.
It'll be Kings ball. Sacramento shooting only 40%. The Sonics at 54%, yet Seattle leading by only 3. And Seattle committing the turnovers. That wasn't the way it was in the first 2 games of this series. Into Polynice. Short jumper. Olden Polynice, a lot more of a force in the series than the Sonics expected. Twice has had double-doubles in the first 3 games. And the alley-oop pass, Burkowski to Kemp, doesn't click. And here come the Kings, down by 1, looking to regain the lead, and they do. Lionel Simmons with the lay-in.
One of the things they're doing, they're attacking the basket, finding lanes that they haven't done previously.
Sacramento regains the lead. Simmons, 4 for 6 from the field, off to a fine offensive start with 10 points. Schrempf comes back, and he gives the Sonics the lead again by 1.
but they're having to make big plays, Seattle is, on almost every possession. The Kings working very hard, seem to be able to get back into the game every time that Seattle takes the lead.
Billy Owens back in there. He's one of the ball handlers that the Sonics or the Kings are relying on. And here's Lionel Simmons, who's out of sight tonight. 12 points for Simmons, 5 for 7 from the field. Kemp can't convert, and here comes Sacramento out of the pack. Owens to Polynice. And a hard foul put on Olden Polynice.
Take a look at Simmons on this one. He's falling down, out of control, bounces up, and he nails the shot.
It seems ironic that trucks so diligently engineered to be quiet would have so much volume. Dodge Ram and Dodge Ram Club Cab, the roomiest pickups on the road. The rules have changed.
Introducing the VersaPack cordless rubber and broom with interchangeable batteries from Black & Decker. Because there's nothing more rewarding than a job well done.
Beck's, the original import. Taste German beer at its finest. Beck's, America's favorite German beer.
Dana, 264 times 13.
All my life, people told me I couldn't do it. Play basketball, do well in school. I remember once.
Excuse me.
These guys were giving me a really hard time.
Excuse me. What do you want? I'm trying to get to my locker.
Well, I know you're not trying to play any basketball. I didn't get mad. I didn't argue. I decided then to just keep on doing what everyone said I couldn't do. Peace.
Kings lead the Sonics by 1 point, 34-33. A couple of players going against their old teams and having big games. Frank Burkowski, of course, in Game 3, 5 for 6 with 12 points, effective from three-point range. And Sharunas Marciulionis, who got off to a slow start in the series, the former Sonic, got the measure of his former team on the road. There is Frank Burkowski, who so far has 4 points in the game, and Sharunas Marciulionis, who the Kings really need his offense tonight.
Well, Marciulionis has played strong minutes, and it looks as though Gary St. Jean is going to give his starters, Edney, Richmond, more time so they can play down the stretch.
And we know what the Sonics bench did, outscoring Sacramento to the tune of 42 points. Coming off the bench in Game 3, but tonight it's the Sacramento bench that has come alive.
Olden Polynice whispering to ask you. It'd be interesting to know what he said.
2 free throws by Polynice. Sonics outscored the Kings 42-14 with their reserves in game number 3, and it's kind of been reversed in this game so far. 3-point lead for the Kings, trying to stay alive in game 4. Sean Kemp, inside foul. And he'll go to the line to shoot. And it's on Michael Smith, second on Smith, as Payton comes back.
Watch this execution. He comes across after the screen, holds his position, gets in so tight that you can't do anything. He didn't flash all the way across the lane. He stopped when he got open, and that's so significant for a key player. But here, he misses the free throw.
Only a 63% shooter in the series, 74 in the regular season. And he misses both. Smith gets the rebound. 2 misses at the line for Seattle, and they have struggled from the free throw line in this series.
I know what Gary St. Jean's going through. He's saying, you know, I got my 2 guys sitting here. I've got these other guys in, and this whole group is playing very well. I'm going to ride it. Turnover.
And the turnover. Payton is fouled by Simmons. While Gary Payton was on the bench, the Kings outscored the Sonics 14-8, but now Payton comes up limping.
He's going to try to walk it off. Here he comes on the breakaway. I don't know if we can see it. He goes up hard. We got shielded. Bangs his knee right there. Knee or foot against the stanchion.
And
it's just a bump. Right. He'll basically just walk it off.
And it was right there that he hit his foot, and still trying to get the Kings out of it as he walks away from the free throw line. Payton made the first free throw. Foul was on Lionel Simmons, his first. Now Steve Javy over at the scorer's table. Garrettson explaining to Gary St. Jean, and from what we understand, they're talking about whether one of Frank Burkowski's shots was a three-pointer. Kind of odd. That was several minutes ago to be talking about that now.
I was surprised, but Bobby Weiss came up and sitting there probably observed it, felt it was a three-point shot, and brought it to the attention of the officials, but a little late.
Driving is Billy Owens, and it's kept alive by Michael Smith. Marciulionis, and McMillan gets a piece of it. One of the better defenders on the Sonics is Nate McMillan, and he was all over Marciulionis, and the foul is on Owens, and that's his third.
Marciulionis just had a turnover. Here he goes up. A clean block. Maybe comes through at the end of it, but blocked it solidly. Here's another look. He gets ball. You can't see what happens after that, but Marciulionis went down. He has a way to kick it over. Richmond into the game.
And as you pointed out, a lot of the starters, such as Mitch Richmond, have had some time on the bench. Pass inside. Schwemp to Payton. And goaltending is called, and credit Payton with the basket.
In the first game, they used this play almost exclusively. Yes, it is, but they used this play almost exclusively with Payton on the baseline, kind of generalizing from there, getting people shots. Let's see if they go to it a little bit more.
Marciulionis for two. Schwemp with the rebound. And slow getting up is Richmond. He may be shaken up. Schwemp gets it into Burkowski, and he travels. And now Mitch Richmond comes up limping. Richmond went to the bench at 1:45 of the first quarter with Seattle up by 4. Has just come back, and now limping and going to the sideline, Bill Jones, who, by the way, is wrapping up his distinguished career as a trainer with the Kings. He came from Arkansas, working on Mitch Richmond.
Let's take a look at the right side of the screen. Richmond trying to work inside. Bang right there. Didn't like the look of the way he walked off the floor. He is really hurt. Hopefully it's similar to Payton's and he can come back and play.
Well, that silences this sellout and enthusiastic crowd to see their big star, Mitch Richmond, and their leading scorer on the year and in the series at averaging over 26 points a game. Coming back limping, Bill Jones is going to take him into the dressing room. So we'll check on Mitch Richmond. And that could be a big loss, obviously, for the Kings. Richmond scored 5 points all in the first quarter and just came back moments ago. We're tied at 36, under 5.5 to play in the first half. Tyus Edney replaces Richmond, drives in against some big people, loses the ball, and taken over by Nate McMillan. Good play by Kemp.
Let's watch what happens in the next 5 minutes.
Kemp puts it up, and an offensive foul called against Sean Kemp. That is his second of the game. Charging foul called against Kemp. And Olden Polynice, who suffered a contusion of the thigh earlier in the series, slow getting up.
There's Kemp, has the ball, and there's no question. He bangs right into Olden. Makes up his mind where he's going to go. He lowered his shoulder. He shouldn't be handling the ball in that kind of situation. Give it to the guard, set up, get down and play where you belong, and you'll be a very effective player, which he has been.
Yeah, he's pretty impressive when he is playing the low post. They are the turnover story. 11 for Seattle, 6 for Sacramento. Expect the Sonics to protect the ball a lot better with their experience in this fourth game. Tyus Edney penetrating, goes up and hit in the face. I tell you, he's a brave guy, and we are impressed with Edney off of the last game. He was overmatched by Gary Payton in game one, but he is resilient to say the least, and the rookie from UCLA came back with his best game by far Tuesday night.
His confidence has come by leaps and bounds. He's not afraid to take the ball to the basket and take the hit and get to the free throw line.
Burkowski committed his second foul, and Tyus Edney, who had 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in game 3.
And right now he's going to have to play a lot of minutes, as is Marciulionis, with Richmond being hurt, and hopefully Richmond comes back, but if not, they've got a long night ahead of them. The problem is Marciulionis has been in there for so long, he's not going to get a rest before half at this point.
And once again, the fatigue story could come to play. Payton with a scoop shot misses, and the rebound by Smith. Edney to Polynice, tips it up and in. Holden Polynice with a great second effort. And it's 40-36 in favor of the Kings, who are trying to even this series at 2 games apiece.
Tyus Edney that time, not a great pass for Polynice. The idea was all right, but a very tough shot. Fortunately for Polynice, watch here, he's too tight right there. Gets it up, misses it, but goes back, tips it back in.
We have a kick ball and a new clock. Our Visa leaderboard, the playoff rebound leaders, and Olden Polynice tied with Horace Grant of the Magic behind Charles Barkley, who will be on TNT tomorrow night, game 4, Spurs and the Suns. There's the shooting. Sonics at 49%, Kings at 42. Sam Perkins into the game, playing up top. Schrempf sees the double team, and a fine pass to Kemp. He could not convert the layup, and the rebound by Michael Smith.
Tyus Edney got so excited, just threw it out of the park.
Turnover. And here is Nate McMillan for 3. Nate McMillan, now 7 of 9 from downtown in the series. He has been explosive, and it's a 40-39 game in favor of the Kings. Edney on the baseline, feeds Lionel Simmons, misses a 3 from the corner, and a rebound for Detlef Schrempf. Schrempf open at the top, he'll take it, and he'll hit it. Detlef Schrempf now 3 for 7 from downtown in the series, and the Sonics regain the lead 42-40 after the Kings had led by 4. Double on Polynice. Edney, quick pass out to Simmons. And Schrempf did a good job of rotating out to Lionel Simmons out at the point. 2-point lead for the Sonics with 2:38 to go in the first half, looking to wrap it up tonight in round 1. Perkins fires away for 3, and he misses. But Schrempf with the offensive rebound lays it in, and the Sonics go up by 4.
Gary Payton working from the baseline, gets in the seam, starts kicking it out. Got Perkins out there, got Detlef Schrempf, get them easy shots.
Edney in traffic, Smith going in and draws the foul. It is a blocking foul. And Shawn Kemp has picked up his 3rd personal of the game.
Here's Detlef Schrempf working hard, using the glass. Scoring, that's on the pass from Payton.
Meanwhile, Kemp picks up his 3rd timeout.
The NBA playoffs on TBS are brought to you by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. And by STP, makers of Son of a Gun, Protectant, and also Son of a Gun citrus cleaner.
We gave Dodge Ram the most powerful overall line of pickup engines on the planet. A driver's side airbag, the option of 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a cab designed to set the standard for comfort and room. Then, after we made Ram that good, we made it this bad. The Ram Sport. At America's Truck Stop, the new Dodge.
STP Son of a Gun Protectant makes vinyl truly shine. Leather more lustrous. And rubber more brilliant and beautiful. It works so well, in fact, some people even use it on cars. Son of a Gun Protectant and new Son of a Gun Tire Glaze by STP.
Beck's, the original import. Taste German beer at its finest. Beck's, America's favorite German beer.
Rated PG-13. Starts Wednesday, May 22nd.
Mitch Richmond limped off a few minutes ago into the dressing room. Let's get a report now from Dick Versace.
Dick and Chuck, here's the story from the Kings locker room. It's only a partial story right now. We're told that he's in an air cast. It's a sprain of the right ankle. They're going to leave it on till half and make a decision at halftime. Back to Chuck and Dick.
Thank you very much, Dick. And there you see where Mitch Richmond on the right went down with the injury. A tough one for the Kings.
And there was no contact on it. He was just moving inside and evidently turned it the right way. Didn't look like he stepped on anyone's foot.
Michael Smith at the line misses the free throw. Sean Kemp, who got into foul trouble the other night and was not much of a factor in the game, although he did play down the stretch on the bench with 3 personal fouls. Kemp scored 12 points in the first quarter, none in the second. Smith, 1 out of 2 from the line, and it's a 3-point Seattle lead.
The problem with those 3 personal fouls are the 2 where he took charges, because they add up to the 3, which puts him in jeopardy. He doesn't need those kind, but they will now go to Payton on the box. Barcelona plays him very tough.
Detlef Schrempf with 2 minutes to go feeds Vincent Askew, who replaced Kemp in the lineup. And Detlef Schrempf is playing a fine all-round game. He has all 9 of his points in the second quarter to go along with 7 assists and 6 rebounds. So it's 46-41 in favor of Seattle. 1:40 remaining in the first half. Looping pass into Polynice, and a fine pass by Marciulionis.
What we'll probably see here is Payton working the baseline, Schrempf penetrating like they did in game 1 when Kemp did not play. Here's Payton on the box already. Marciulionis is going to try to deny him the ball. Schrempf will look to take it to the hole.
And a foul committed by Marciulionis. That'll be the first against Sharunas, who will captain the Lithuanian team in the Olympics in Atlanta this summer.
Here's Schrempf, gets the pass. Now they're going to isolate him. That was actually an offensive foul by Payton, pushed off with his left hand, but got away with it. But he will work the box down there. When he gets the ball down there, he starts to get into the defense, and he's such a problem and sets up so many other people.
Gary Payton makes the first free throw. Coming up on the Reebok halftime report, Ernie Johnson, Cheryl Miller, and Golden State guard B.J. Armstrong will have all the scores and highlights from tonight's playoff action. Payton connects on both, and a 5-point Sonic lead with 1:20 to go in the half. Seattle led by 3 after 1 quarter. Game 4, best of 5, and the Kings need to win here at home to extend the series to a deciding game, which will be played Saturday night.
Sacramento is struggling to find people to score. They're going to have to do it inside and go to the foul line.
Sloppy offensive play, but Lionel Simmons, that's the second time tonight Simmons has scored after a kind of a reckless sequence.
That's his game, but they're going to need those kind of plays to try to stay in. Without Richmond, they've got to end it. Polynice on the bench, they've got a problem.
Simmons, by the way, with 14 points, and we have our second illegal defense call against the Kings, and that will result in a technical foul. Houston leading Los Angeles 87-79 in the fourth quarter as the Rockets look to wrap up that Western Conference playoff. And it's interesting, if you want to be scoreboard watching, the winner of that series will play the winner of this series in the Western semifinals next. Air ball tossed up by Detlef Schrempf.
That was a shocker. Detlef Schrempf,
78% during the regular season.
An air ball in that kind of situation.
How embarrassing for Detlef Schrempf. I'd want to run away and hide. Here's Gary Payton laying it in. It looks like Payton, off to a big game tonight, has 12 points, 7 here in the second quarter, and a foul is called against Payton. That is his second personal foul, but the Sonics have foul troubles tonight again.
In that particular case, Barcelonas was out of control and picked up the foul. But they're going to have a problem if they're going to allow Payton to be on the box. Here he just barrels in and kind of gives it an acting job and gets the call.
Barcelonas with the free throw. Sean Kemp, Percy Hawkins, each with 3 personal fouls, and Payton with 2. Kemp, again, spending a lot of time on the bench. Barcelonas connects on 1 out of 2 to bring the Kings to within 4 with half a minute remaining in the first half. 18 on the shot clock for Seattle. Payton finding Askew. Open is Schrempf. Edney with the long rebound, and now playing for the last shot. Kings will try to narrow it to 2 or 1.
Looked like a good decision, but I thought they had numbers. If he would have come, they might have gotten a layup, even though it would have given the Sonics another opportunity.
Barcelonas puts it up with 0.8 of a second remaining in the half. And the shot by Askew is off the mark. Sharunas Barcelonas with the basket. But Gary Payton with a big second quarter for the Sonics, who lead after 1 half of play, 50-48. And there is Tyus Edney being talked to by Gary St. Jean, probably about that.
I guarantee you he would say to him, take it to the basket.
You've been there, Coach. I know. 50-48 Seattle at the half.
1.8 seconds remaining.
No one knows why they play Follow the Leader, but at least we know who they've been following. Sea-Doo, the best-selling boat in the world.
Now you can launch your business into cyberspace with a new toll-free 888 number from AT&T. It gives you all the benefits of an 800 number and a free listing on the internet, where millions of customers can find your number, check out your homepage, and order your products.
Your order's flying out the door.
One small step for you, one giant leap for your business. Toll-free 888 from AT&T for the life of your business.
Don't get me wrong, when I'm banging them inside, lighting them up outside, hitting from the corner, at the line, above the rim, and down the hole. I'm not hot dogging. I'm just marking my territory. This is my thing.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok. Are you prepared to say, this is my planet?
In what could be the clincher for the Sonics, they are holding off a game bunch of Kings. 50-48 is the halftime score from Arco. Ernie Johnson, Cheryl Miller, Golden State's B.J. Armstrong in Atlanta with the Reebok Halftime Report. Thanks for hanging around with us tonight. Hey, where else are you going to go? You take a look at the first half of this game, B.J. Now, Mitch Richmond goes down. They're going to evaluate him at halftime. If he can't go in a second half, what does that do to the rest of the Kings?
That's a very good question, Ernie. But the main concern, I think, the obvious concern that has to be is the health of Mitch Richmond. They need Mitch Richmond on the floor. They need his leadership, and they need his scoring. But this has been a gutsy performance thus far by the Sacramento Kings to only be down 2 at the half.
Got 24 minutes to play, and it should be a spectacular final 24 minutes. In the Eastern Conference tonight, there remains a question in Orlando. Who are we going to play in the conference semis? Atlanta had a chance to answer that question at the Omni, but now we're going to have to wait until Sunday. Game 4 of that first rounder, Hawks and the Pacers, downtown Atlanta. Atlanta looking to get off early, but it was the Dutch boy in the paint getting it done. Rick Smits only had 13 points in Game 3, had 15 in the first half of this one. Atlanta in transition. What a series Steve Smith has had. He feeds Craig Elo, and they're down 43-35. At the half, Atlanta was down 50-41. Where are you going to go? Rick Smits had a much better game today after really having some trouble with Christian Laettner in Game 3. And Atlanta could not throw it in the parking lot in the second half. Look at this fourth quarter. 13 shots in a row they missed. They go 7.5 minutes just about without scoring. And Reggie's pumped because they're going back to Market Square, and the Hawks have got to win on the road for the second time in this series. And this is a team that's lost 10 out of 11 at Market Square. Game 5 Sunday. Indiana wins it 83-75. We talk about the cold stretch, really both teams in the fourth quarter. Pacers outscoring them 15-11. Both teams hit 5 field goals in that quarter, and the Hawks just all over the place. 5 out of 23 and 1 out of 5 from the line in the big scoreless streak. They go back to Market Square. Here's Craig Sager with Deuces, Ricky Pierce.
You could tell on the guy's face that we were going to come out and win this ball game because everyone was loose. You know, we was concentrating that shoot around. I mean, we had that attitude on the bus on the way to the game. You know, we just sort of felt in the air that we could win tonight.
All right, so the winner of that series gets the Magic, and Orlando's kind of laying around patting the puppy dog and reading the paper and saying, hey, what's going to happen here? And now, do you get well rested in this time, or do you get a little rusty in this time? It's going to be a week, I guess.
I think it's a combination of both. I know that Coach Hill and his staff towards the end of the season, you know, had to really work hard at keeping the team focused and motivated, but this is the playoffs, and I don't believe that he'll have a problem getting this team ready for playoffs.
Game 5 again in Indiana, Atlanta at Market Square on Sunday. When the Reebok halftime report continues, we're going to check out the Summit in Houston. Do the Rockets move on to the next round, or do they move back to LA for Game 5? Highlights next.
All across America, you're there to see us through. Just around the corner, a neighborhood Jiffy Lube.
Americans are tough on cars. That's why we recommend service every 3,000 miles. And we offer Pennzoil.
3,000 miles, you make us smile. America's Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change.
These days, trying to get on top of your financial situation is getting tougher and tougher. What you need is someone with experience and know-how. MetLife can help you get a grip on things and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
There's a place where UV rays beat down so mercilessly they're nearly twice as intense as the sun's. No, it's not some blazing spot in the equator. It's the Dutch Boy Paint Testing Facility, where we test our exterior house paints to make sure they resist fading, blistering, and peeling. It's one of over 75 tests we do to make sure that when you buy Dutch Boy, you're not just getting a paint that looks beautiful. You're getting a paint that lasts. We guarantee it. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy.
Oh, honey, boy. I told you you'd love it.
You were right, sweetie. I wanted the motel. I feel like an outdoorsman.
Well, good night,
honey.
Oh my God.
That noise, you hear that noise?
Yes, I did hear that. What is it? What do you see? What do you see?
Oh, boy.
Honey?
Where's the Ericsson cellular phone?
Oh, shoot, I left it outside.
What do you mean you left it outside? I gotta go out there and get it.
Ericsson cellular phones. Because when life gets a little wild, you want a highly reliable Ericsson cellular phone.
Hi, yeah, we're in a tent. There's some trees and there's a huge bear out there.
Is there life beyond the first round? George Karl might find out tonight. His guys lead the Kings 50-48. The Reebok halftime report continues. The winner of that series gets the winner of the Lakers-Rockets best-of-5 tonight. The reigning champs went looking for the finishing touch in their own backyard. The Summit in Houston, the site. Game 4, and Magic was ready. Let's check out the Lakers going to work early, and it's Houston with the defense. Clyde Drexler had the neck spasms. He's okay. He's playing. They're up 4. Robert Horry getting his game back after struggling on the West Coast. They're up by 7. Houston hit 9 of their first 10 shots in this game. Magic will miss the 3. Here come the Rockets again, but whoops. Look at Magic covering some ground. Hitting Eldon Campbell. Cuts the lead to 24-20. We skip ahead now to the third quarter. And Chucky Brown. How about Chucky? A playoff career high of 16 at last report. 3 minutes to go in the game. The Houston Rockets trying to hang on and eliminate the Los Angeles Lakers. 91-86 is the count as they play at the Summit That game being played, of course, on TNT. Your take on what we're seeing tonight at the Summit?
I'm just surprised. I mean, BJ and I were sitting up here saying how odd it is. It's the fourth quarter, it's crunch time, and Magic Johnson's on the bench.
Yeah, that's, really, different. I'd never seen that. Magic Johnson's on the bench. You see, last night's ball game, Michael Jordan is nursing a sore back. So these are seeing things. You can see the change of time that you haven't seen before.
Hey, you mentioned Michael Jordan. A quick read on the series with the New York Knicks.
Here we go again. I'm excited. When you think of the Knicks, the Bulls, the rivalry that's gone over the years, what they've built over the last couple of years, it's been a tremendous series. This has the potential to be a really good series because the Bulls, we know, are playing great basketball. They've been showing that all year. And the Knicks are feeling good because they're saying, we're playing our best basketball right now. So it has the possibility to be a good series.
The Bulls took them 3 out of 4, but that one loss was that Sunday afternoon national TV job where they really got spanked. So we'll see what happens in that best of 7. BJ, it has been great to have you with us the last couple of nights. Thanks for making time in your schedule to be down here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right, gang. We're going to wrap up the Reebok halftime report a minute from now. Seattle and Sacramento. Still anybody's ball game. Right now, it's the Sonics by a deuce.
Welcome to Olympic basketball teams. I say us to this year's Olympic Games. Me, Akeem Olajuwon, and the rest of American Dream Team are going to treat these guys for lunch.
We said we're going to eat these guys for lunch, not treat. Whoops.
King, when you need a world of purchase power, it's time to go for the gold. Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
Nobody knows the value of protection better than a quarterback. So take it from me, your car needs protection from the sun. So don't just use any old stuff on the vinyl and rubber. Shine and protect them with Armor All Protector. Test-proof Armor All blocks up to 4 times more of the sun's damaging UV rays than the #2 brand. Shine's good, but it's not protection. Let's face it, my head shines, but I still wouldn't play without my helmet. So don't just shine your car, armor it with Armor All.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok. Are you prepared to say, this is my planet?
He runs the 100 in 14.4. He long jumps 7.2.5. And he high jumps. Well, sort of. But wow, you should see his Powerade cap. It won him the chance to train at a U.S. Olympic Training Center, and the right cap could get you here too. Odds of scoring are 1 in 4 with discounts on athletic gear from Champ Sports, discounts on subscriptions to Sports Illustrated, and free Powerade. Hey, that could be you.
If you think stress is tough on you, consider your engine. Traffic jams, towing and hauling, even idling can lead to damaging wear. That's why Castrol is introducing Syntec Blend, the only synthetic blend that combines Castrol conventional oil and Syntec molecular components for greater protection than conventional oil in severe driving conditions. Because too much stress can be fatal. Castrol Syntec Blend, added protection for severe driving conditions.
It hurts so bad. That burning sensation. I wanted it to stop. Fast. So I saw my doctor. My doctor said Mylanta. He said heartburn and acid indigestion may start in your stomach, but where it hurts is all through here. And that's where fast-acting Mylanta liquid works fast on heartburn. Soothing on contact, all down through here where you want help fast. Yeah, my doctor's pretty smart. My doctor said Mylanta.
There was a time when we didn't have a worry in the world. Today, well, we seem to be making up for it. That's why you need Chevy Lumina, a car so well engineered and affordable, you could have it paid off long before it needs its first tune-up. Chevy Lumina, because nobody's got enough money, and everybody's got enough worries. The cars more Americans trust.
Genuine Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Arco Arena in Sacramento. Game 4 of the Western Conference first-round battle, and the Kings need a win to stay alive, and the Sonics would like to put away the Kings and exercise some of those first-round blues that they've had the last couple of years. 2-point lead. How do you look at it so far, Chuck?
Well,
I think Sacramento Kings did not get off to a good start, but they rallied around, played good basketball. Their bench helped. I think Gary St. Jean was trying to rest his starters, and of course the Richmond injury. But pretty tight game. Then Kemp, of course, gets the third foul. Now Payton takes over, goes to the baseline. That's the interesting thing to watch.
Interesting, the two stars, and neither other team has been able to make any headway with the stars out of there. Kemp has 3 fouls, and Sacramento hasn't been able to take out of that. And Richmond got hurt, and the Sonics weren't able to take advantage. Here's that injury as you look on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, Mitch Richmond had just come back in the game. He's wrestling for position. He makes body contact, but it isn't like he stepped on anyone's foot, and then he goes down. Just simply turned his ankle. Obviously, it was taped, but it's unfortunate. There you see him walking off the floor with Jonesy.
He scored 5 points, and for a further update, let's go to Dick Versace.
Gary, outstanding first half. Mitch Richmond only played 12 points. Can you give us a report on Mitch's condition?
Dick, it's a moderate sprain. We believe he's going to play. He's getting retaped. He'll be back out there if he's at all able to go. And Lionel Simmons gave us a terrific lift coming off the bench. Down 2. We feel good about the second half. We've got to rebound a little bit better, and if we can do that, we'll hope we can get up to Seattle tomorrow.
You've been able to penetrate. You've been able to handle the traps. I think all of the adjustments that you wanted to make, you've been able to make in this half.
Well, you and I have talked a great deal about this, and it's in the importance of the abilities to split the trap, ball movement, as well as people movement. We spaced the floor well and dribbled to the penetration well and gotten to the free throw line for 18 attempts.
Seems to be working. Thanks, Coach.
You're the man.
Okay. All right, Chuck and Dick, back to you.
That's what they say when you're on the first tee, you're the man. Anyway, shooting-wise, the Sonics 50% and the Kings at 44%. Interesting that the Kings have a 10-point lead coming off the bench, and that's where the Sonics really went to work in game number 3.
They did, but tonight their starters are doing a good job. The Kings, as you mentioned, their bench is coming to the fore. They'll need to come, particularly if Richmond isn't able to go the long minutes.
Payton and Kemp with 12. Of course, Kemp has 3 fouls. Payton himself has 2. Detlef Schrempf with a good first half with 9 points. For the Sacramento Kings, Lionel Simmons coming off the bench for 14 points. Polonese 8. Brian Grant starting to score a little bit for the first time in the series, has 7 points. Mitch Richmond had just 5 as Richmond left with 5:28 to go in the second quarter. The score was tied at 36. So the Sonics weren't able to go to town when Richmond went out of there. And the same could be said when Kemp picked up his 3rd foul for Seattle.
Lionel Simmons, as you mentioned, the big scorer in the first half off the bench. Normally only averages about 15 minutes a game. He's averaged 14 in the playoffs. Tonight he already has 15. A 4.6 score regular season, 4.7 for the series. But tonight doing what's necessary, and sometimes that happens in playoff basketball.
And as you so sharply and intuitively pointed out during the halftime break, for the first time in the series,
accolades
the Sonics
will not get you shots on the first tee.
All right, I was just trying to, you know what I'm trying to do. Anyway, the first time the Sonics are out-rebounding the Sacramento Kings, who had the rebounding edge in the first 3 games.
Yeah, you're right, 23-18. However, Seattle has turned it over 11-7, and it's made it a decent game.
So we start the third quarter. Olden Polonese, Billy Owens, and Brian Grant up front for the Kings, who will have the ball first. Tyus Edney and Sharunas Marshallonis in the backcourt for Sacramento. Gary Payton and Hersey Hawkins, who has spent a lot of time on the bench with the 3 fouls that he picked up early, played only 7 minutes in the first half. Schrempf, Kemp, and Urban Johnson up front. So Hawkins, Johnson, and Kemp a little bit rested, I would think.
Yeah, with the foul problems, Olden Polonese played 22 minutes for the Kings, and I think that's significant. I thought the other night down the stretch, he was the guy that got really tired because he had to play so many hard minutes. It isn't so much the minutes, it's the jumping, the constant jumping, which wears you out.
And of course, he had that thigh injury earlier in the series. So it's 50-48 in favor of the Sonics. We start the third quarter. Marshallonis tries to force a pass, and it's picked off. So the Kings turn over on their first possession. Tyus Edney gets a piece of it, but it's Seattle's ball.
Marshallonis, not a ball handler, had 2 turnovers in the first half. Needs to be careful with the ball. Those are not tough passes, not trying to thread the needle between 2 people at hip level.
Gary Payton controlling. He has 12 points and played 20 minutes in that first half. Payton with the first shot for the Sonics. And the rebound taken down by Tyus Edney, of all people. Ball knocked loose, and last touch by Payton. So it's Sacramento ball.
You know, coaches talking about it constantly. They worry about their team when they're in the locker room at halftime. How are they going to come out? How is those first 5 minutes? Don't go to sleep. Be intent. Get back in the game.
Owens handling the ball as he has throughout this series. And Brian Grant tried to force another pass back to Owens. So another turnover by the Kings. So they start off flat here in the third quarter. Here's Hawkins trying to get going, misses a three. Schrempf tips it in. Detlef Schrempf now with 11 points and a 4-point lead for the Sonics.
Detlef Schrempf all night has been alone. Either at the top of the key, he's got some very easy baskets. He's tipped in two where nobody has put a body on him.
Marciulionis doubles, goes down to Polynice. Schrempf and Irvin Johnson double him. Polynice forces one from the baseline. Kings can't be putting a smile on Gary St. Jean's face in the opening minutes here of the third. And Gary Payton for three. That's his second from downtown. Opens up a 7-point lead for Seattle, and the Kings want a timeout.
Well, Gary St. Jean is saying, you know, he was a cheerleader up to now. He's no longer a cheerleader. He's going to have to get in their faces and say, hey, wake up. We'll be out of this basketball game. You keep turning it over like this.
And Gary St. Jean upset. Let's listen to the huddle.
Listen to me. Come in here, huh?
So after that tongue lashing, let's see how the Kings respond, Chuck.
Well, they started the game exactly the same way, very flat, but were able to work themselves back into it. Let's see if they can do it in the second half. They better not get too far out of it with the talent that the Supersonics have.
Good point. You don't want to give the Sonics a big edge. There's the alley-oop pass inside to Grant. Turnaround. Brian Grant, who averaged over 14.5 during the regular season, 9 in the playoffs, has scored 9 points, and a big basket to break that run by Seattle. It's 55-50 in favor of the Sonics.
Good pressure on the ball.
Percy Hawkins has it knocked away by Tyus Edney. Loops it for Marciulionis. Irvin Johnson is back and commits the foul. Let's go to Dick Versace in a hurry. Dick?
Yeah, I got a new update on Mitch Richmond. They took him out of the bubble cast. He walked around. He didn't like how he felt. The trainer, Bill Jones, said he's going to put him back in it for 5 to 8 minutes and try it again. Back to Dick and Chuck.
All right, so Gary St. Jean hoping that Mitch Richmond can get back into action, but it won't happen in a hurry as Marciulionis makes good on the first free throw. He's got them both. Irvin Johnson picked up his third foul, so Kemp, Johnson, and Hawkins all with 3 for the Sonics.
Well, if they'll go to work like they have in the previous contest, get on the backboard, become aggressive, they can pick up some key fouls.
Payton getting it low to Kemp. Sonics need some mileage from Kemp, and he is mugged inside and will shoot a pair.
Where he is so dangerous, he whirls and he's so quick. He isn't methodical when he gets there. He's athletic, and he just swings and goes. Here's Mitch Richmond.
He had the bubble cast removed, and you'll hear the cheers when he comes out on the floor.
The way he's walking, I'm not sure how effective he's going to be or if he's going to come back into this contest.
Sean Kemp missed the front end. Finally makes a free throw. 1 for 4 in the game. Kemp with 13 points. Payton with 15 leads the Sonics. And it's a 56-52 game as Mitch Richmond gets the cheers as he goes to the bench. But a good point. Will he get in the game? Tyus Edney hits from downtown, and Detlef Schrempf is holding on to his left knee. And we're a 1-point game with Seattle leading. And this may come down to a war of attrition with the injuries on both sides.
Yeah, look, I don't know if he got banged right in the knee, which is very painful, or if it's actually knee damage. He's getting up at this point.
He was whiplashed by Lionel Simmons, remember, in the second quarter of Game 3 on Tuesday night, and as a result, a technical foul was called against the Kings, so Schrempf got hit then, and let's see what happens here.
It looked to me like his kneecap against the opposing player's kneecap right here. Simmons right here, see it? Kneecap to kneecap, and that's very, very painful.
20-second timeout called by the Sonics. as they tend to deadlift shrimp. He has been a big factor tonight for the Sonics with 11 points after being held scoreless in the first quarter. Mitch Richmond with his ankle just sitting on the bench. Don't know whether he'll get back. Kings have outscored the Sonics 7-1 in their last minute and 6. Trailing by 1. Grant trying for the steal. Plenty of time on the shot clock. And Gary Payton hits a 3 for Payton. That's his 3rd of the game from downtown. And he has 18 points already.
What a great little basketball player. A great point guard. Can shoot the 3. Can defend. Great defensively in terms of stealing. And a free agent.
And trying to force the pass, Marciulionis. He is very careless with the turnovers. He forces passes throughout this series. Payton, one-hander in the lane, a left-handed shot by Payton, and it's a 6-point lead now for Seattle. Payton 7 for 10 from the field tonight, including 3 from downtown.
Gary Payton is assuming the leadership of this club, saying, I will not let this club lose.
20 points, and it looks like he is intent on making that happen tonight. Here is Marciulionis down low to Grant. Quickly the double, the low post man, and Kemp takes it out of his hands. Here comes Hersey Hawkins at the other end. Foul basket counts, and Gary St. Jean better call a timeout because the Sonics have opened up an 8-point lead that may be 9 in just a moment.
Gary St. Jean, very booty, and here's Gary Payton driving the lane, going left. Left-handed, scores it. Coming down. Watch Kemp take it right out of his hands. One hands it out, gets it to Hersey Hawkins, goes hard to the basket, gets a continuation foul and basket.
And Billy Owens picked up the last 2 fouls, has 5 in the game. Billy Owens now with 5 fouls. Lionel Simmons will replace him, and the Kings call a timeout. Owens with 5 personals, and he's been an important ball handler for Sacramento in the series.
The NBA playoffs on TBS are brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy.
Like all Americans, I like big things. Big prairies. Big forests and mountains. Big wheat fields. And everything else.
There's a place where UV rays beat down so mercilessly they're nearly twice as intense as the sun's. No, it's not some blazing spot on the equator. It's the Dutch Boy Paint Testing Facility, where we test our exterior house paints to make sure they resist fading, blistering, and peeling. It's one of over 75 tests we do to make sure that when you buy Dutch Boy, you're not just getting a paint that looks beautiful. You're getting a paint that lasts. We guarantee it. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy.
I've got a problem. I love to read. So when I start a good book, I can't put it down. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I have to keep reading. Then as soon as I finish, I can't wait to start the next one. I better get started.
Sonics opening up a big 9-point lead with 8:14 to go in the third. And now let's take a look at tonight's Chevy scoreboard. It's a final. The Rockets beat the Lakers 102-94 to win that first-round series 3-1 and move into the Western semifinals. Indiana forced a deciding 5th game with a victory at Atlanta. So the Rockets, the defending NBA champions, beat the Lakers in what was heralded to be a big series, and the Rockets did a good job. The one game they lost was when Olajuwon fouled out, and now complaining is Sean Kemp, and he picks up his 4th personal foul. So just when the Sonics on an 8-0 run seem to have things going their way, the blanket over the whole atmosphere, Kemp's 4th personal.
Good execution. They pounded the ball inside. Polonais making his move, gets hit on the elbow.
Olden Polonais hits. Kings were on a 7-1 run, and then the Sonics outscored the Kings, now 8-1 in about a minute. Kemp will go to the bench with 4 fouls, replaced by Sam Perkins. Perkins with 17 to lead the team in scoring. Tuesday night has yet to score this evening. 2 free throws, and it's a 64-57 game, the Sonics. Lionel Simmons, who went to replace Billy Owens, both in ball handling roles, and Polynice causes the turnover. Tyus Edney leaves it for Marciulionis. Edney looking for someone to pass to now, gives up his dribble, and a offensive foul has been called against Brian Grant. Let's get an update on the Detlef Schrempf's injury from Dick Versace.
Frank Furtado, trainer for the Sonics, told me that it was a contusion, knee on knee, as you guys suspected. Ice on the knee, he should be able to play. Back to Dick and Chuck.
Who thought you'd join the Red Cross tonight, Dick? But that's what you've been doing with Richmond and Schrempf. 7:15 to go in the third. 7 on the shot clock. Perkins with a hook and a fine move over Brian Grant.
A running left-handed hook, and Gary Payton getting into the defense, creating. They've dropped the ball on him a couple of times, turnovers, but he is making it happen.
Perkins' first points of the game, 66-57. Again, a 9-point lead for the Seattle Sonics. Tyus Edney in the traffic throws the ball away and turns it over.
You have to be so careful against the Sonics because they get you in the corner. They're so good at trapping. They're so used to it.
Kings have turned it over 6 times in only 5 minutes in the third quarter, so they are reverting the form of the first 2 games, and they're all even in turnovers in this one. Percy Hawkins with a 3. Hawkins with his second from downtown, and another timeout called as Gary St. Jean looking to stem the tide. Sonics are up 69-57. It's their biggest lead of the game.
This is TBS, home of the world champion Atlanta Braves.
Budweiser. All right, we're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
Of all the things trucks can do, there's one thing that's never been done before. Only Chevy trucks have ever won back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year awards.
You're no stranger to the sunrise. You know dedication is keeping a promise to yourself. You do what you dream about. You're going to Atlanta. What do you wear? Champion. Outfit of the U.S. Olympic team.
Sonics opening up a 12-point lead in the third quarter. And we want to remind you that tomorrow night the Braves are back on TBS against the Phillies. 4-time Cy Young Award winner Greg Maddux scheduled to start. All begins at 7:35 Eastern right here on TBS. George Karl Sonics taking advantage of Sacramento turnovers here and have 12 points this half off of the turn. 5 turnovers and 12 points in this half. 69-57, under 6.5 to play in the third quarter.
Here comes the trap again. They're going to make Kings handle the ball and then get to their set.
Lionel Simmons in the baseline, Brian Grant from the corner, and Irvin Johnson the rebound. Kings have not had a basket in the last 3 minutes in what has been a 13-2 run by the Sonics. Working his way in, Perkins. And Perkins, who was held scoreless in the first half, now with 2 big baskets.
And the Supersonics, coolly efficient, going to the people that they have to get to and really taking care of business. Unfortunately for the Kings, losing Richmond, they don't have a lot of places to go, and Billy Owens out of the game also.
Marciulionis steps the tide with a basket from outside, but defensively the Kings have to put some stops on as the Sonics have hit 8 of their first 10 shots here in the third quarter and lead by 12. There's the shooting, red hot by Seattle, and Simmons gets the rebound inside. Tyus Edney pulls up and hits. So Marciulionis and Edney hitting jumpers, and it's a 10-point game.
You know, in the series, it's been interesting. The Kings just keep wanting to come back. You put them down for dead, they just keep hanging around.
Hawkins feeds Irvin Johnson. Rebound, Polonese. Even in game 1, they narrowed the disadvantage to 7 before they lost by 12. Edney all the way.
Sensational play.
Has he grown up in this series since game 1?
Absolutely amazing. The first game, you would have left him for dead. He has come back and really proven that he can play in the NBA as a point guard.
Irvin Johnson blocked by Polonese out of bounds with 7 seconds on the clock. That's the third block by Olden Polonese.
Here's Tyus Edney, coast to coast, gets the ball looking down court, but he's made up his mind. He's going to get to the basket, goes against all the trees, and lays it in.
Hawkins. And Lionel Simmons clears it out to Edney. It's an 8-point lead. Edney again with the jumper. And the crowd would have erupted as if they could erupt any more than they have in this game. So it's still 8 as we wind down to 4 minutes remaining in the third. Here's Perkins, who has had a very fine third quarter. Misses the left-handed scoop shot.
Got to try to force a baseline. He's had his way when he goes the other way. And there's Marciulionis, gets fouled, but he was in one of those situations where he could have turned it over.
He's done that tonight. Perkins with the personal foul, his first.
Here he's down court. Now he tries to slice between 2 players. Dangerous, loses his balance, but picks up the foul.
Vincent Askew comes into the game, and right now the Seattle Sonics, with the likes of Nate McMillan and Vincent Askew, have a couple of very tough defensive players in there, and that's the name of their game.
It is that and turnovers because of the defense, and when they get in trouble, they don't go offensive, they go defensive.
Marciulionis misses the 3, and Askew gets the rebound. 71-63 in favor of the Sonics. They were up by 14. And the Kings have come back, but still a gap there. Schrempf. And here comes Sacramento again. And a great pass to Lionel Simmons and a block by Vincent Askew.
A great pass and even better reaction defensively.
Askew with maybe the defensive play of the game. Detlef Schrempf fouled, driving to the hoop. And Brian Grant with his second personal foul.
Watch this play. He thinks he's wide open. No chance. He had the rim to use. He could have gone underneath. He could have held onto the ball, make sure he got fouled at least, but he thought he was wide open. There was no chance to have that shot blocked. Wrong.
Vincent Askew, who a 2-time MVP in the CBA, played for George Karl in the Continental Basketball Association. And a very valuable performer. This is a very tough glue-type defensive unit when they bring McMillan and Askew off the bench. Schrempf makes both of his free throws, and once again the Sonics lead by 10 with 3:12 remaining in the third quarter.
You wonder how many runs the Sacramento Kings have.
They have played hard throughout this series. Edney in traffic. Simmons with a jumper. Tipped up, Polonese and Grant, and a loose ball foul is called against Olden Polonese, and that is his second.
One of the things that the Sonics are doing when Edney gets it on the wing, he's being forced baseline into that kind of traffic. They're battling on the board, just couldn't come up with anything on that particular play.
You know, when Gary St. Jean was just talking to Bill Jones, I wonder whether he was asking whether Mitch Richmond could see action in the game.
Maybe begging. Needs help.
More like it. Schrempf with a feint and a block by Simmons. And on the second effort, Askew misses. Boy, this is a rough game going on. Simmons, baseline, Brian Grant, big basket. But once again, the Kings within 8 points. Grant tonight with 11 points, having his best offensive game of the series.
In terms of the scoring and the way the game's being played, it reminded me of Game 1. They lost the game, but they kept hanging around. But there's Gary Payton doing what he does. Every time you need something, he'll give it to you, whether it's a shot, penetration, or steal.
22 for Payton on 8 for 12 shooting. Under 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. The lead is 10. Sonics had a 2-point lead at the half. Nearly a turnover. Edney with 3 on the shot clock. Misses it from downtown. Outlet pass. And a good one from McMillan. Perkins. And Schrempf with a big offensive rebound against the 2 guards of the Sacramento Kings. Why the 2 guards are underneath, I'll never know.
They're struggling. Fatigue is starting to set in.
Polynice clamped in on the baseline, finds Grant, he lays it in.
The hard part is they really trap you hard. There are no easy traps, and to fight your way out of them, find a passing lane, which he did in that case, is very difficult.
Brian Grant with 13 points. Leading scorer is Grant, followed by Edney with 12 for the Kings. Perkins and a pushing foul. No basket, the foul before the shot.
Every time Perkins gets it, if he's not open, he's going to go left. You've got to try to shade that and take it away. When he catches the ball, get up on his left hand, not let him get in the lane.
Kemp comes back in the game, as does Billy Owens. Owens has 5 fouls and Kemp has 4. As Nate McMillan goes out. Nearly 7 minutes was Kemp on the bench. And Sam Perkins on the line.
Kind of amazing to me that they bring them both back with both people in foul trouble with 1 minute to go. Why not wait till the end of the quarter and send them into the quarter? I guess they're hoping they'll get a little warmed up, not pick up a foul. A little bit dangerous.
Kings have gone to the line 8 more times than the Sonics. Perkins, for only his first trip, made the first and the second. And it's a 10-point lead.
The Sonics have been very, very aggressive. They're very, very efficient. They've played a lot of great basketball together, and they're a full complement of players, which isn't the case for the Kings.
64 wins, second best to the Chicago Bulls in the league this year. And Simmons puts it up and is fouled by Detlef Schrempf. Just the first on Schrempf, and Lionel Simmons will go to the line with 46.1 remaining in the third quarter.
Nolan Polynice raising his hands.
And cheers on the sideline for a player who has not seen much action. Wayne Causwell, who started 18 of the last 19 games in the regular season, but has been a forgotten man in this series, has come in for Olden Polynice just to spell Olden.
Try to give him the break between quarters along with this 46 seconds, which should allow them to get back into the game and give them the rebounding they need.
Lionel Simmons, 15 points tonight, more than he scored now at 16 in the first 3 games of the series. Simmons' season's high was 19, so he has given the Kings some great production off the bench. But it's an 8-point game, 15 on the shot clock. Payton going back inside to Kemp. Good ball movement by the Sonics, but Schrempf misses in the long rebound to Billy Owens. Chance to cut it down in the final seconds of this third quarter.
Now they've got to wind the clock down. They've got the shot clock with only about a second or so beyond it.
So this is, for all intents and purposes, the last shot of the third quarter. Simmons with 3 on the clock. Edney in traffic puts it up. Short at the buzzer, Smith with a follow. And Gary Payton, who had 12 points at the half, adds 10 more on a hot shooting night, 3 from downtown. And after 3 quarters, the Sonics lead the Kings by a score of 77 to 69.
There was a time when we didn't have a worry in the world. Today, well, we seem to be making up for it. That's why you need Chevy Lumina, a car so well engineered and affordable, you could have it paid off long before it needs its first tune-up. Chevy Lumina, because nobody's got enough money, and everybody's got enough worries. The cars more Americans trust.
Genuine Chevrolet.
Gravity by Foot Locker. Of all the laws of nature, you are my least favorite. It's not your fault you exist, but gravity.
You are no friend of mine.
You do not belong in my house. Though you show up every morning.
I defy you, Gravity. You are not my obstacle.
That grin you see, that's me knowing I will beat you. If only for an instant.
Even if it's just for an instant.
Foot Locker, where it all begins and gravity ends.
Now you can launch your business into cyberspace with a new toll-free 888 number from AT&T. It gives you all the benefits of an 800 number and a free listing on the internet, where millions of customers can find your number, check out your homepage, and order your products.
Your order's flying out the door.
One small step for you, one giant leap for your business. Toll-free 888 from AT&T for the life of your business.
Ever wonder what's inside this world-class sprinter? Besides fuel-injected speed, you'll find Powerade with 33% more carbos than Gatorade. It's what's on the track. Powerade, the official sports drink of the Olympic Games.
Your chance to train at a U.S. Olympic Training Center is in this specially marked bottle, along with cool discounts and free Powerade. All you gotta do is check under the cap. Odds of scoring are 1 in 4.
Arco Arena cheering on the Sacramento Kings, who have 12 more minutes in which they can make a run at the Seattle Sonics to stay alive and force a 5th game. But the Sonics lead it 77 to 69. There's the scoring by quarter, a big third quarter by Seattle. Mitch Richmond has not been back in action since suffering a sprained ankle with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And a big loss for the Sacramento Kings. Sean Kemp traveled, no basket. Kemp is playing with 4 personal fouls and has 13 points. Gary Payton with 22 leads the Sonics, and Lionel Simmons, an unlikely source, with 16 off the bench, high point man for Sacramento.
Seattle, the first half was all Kemp, hasn't done much the second half. Gary Payton has taken over the second half, and there's an inadvertent turnover.
Shooting percentages, Seattle at 47%, Sacramento at 43%. Sonics 7 3-point baskets tonight. That's been a big part of their arsenal. Gary Payton, and the rebound by Michael Smith. So it's Simmons, Edney, Smith, Owens, and Causwell. Owens playing with 5 personal. Owens open. And he has not been able to shoot effectively from the perimeter.
Struggling to make a shot, getting them pretty good shots. They wanted to go at Payton on a post-up with Simmons, but
Payton for 3. He's got it. Gary Payton with his 4th 3-point basket of the game opens up an 11-point lead. Payton is 4 for 5 from 3-point territory. Biggest lead the Sonics had was 14 in the third quarter.
Right now the Kings just have nowhere to go offensively, really struggling.
And the foul, we saw Seattle 8 for 17 from downtown, and Schrempf might have re-aggravated that right knee. Actually, it was the left knee that he hurt originally.
He's gotten them both tapped tonight. Keep those knees in, don't move them outside.
Second on Shrimp, and Michael Smith will shoot. Dick Versace.
Gary St. Jean turned to his guys in the last timeout, pointed to the upper deck, and said, "Look up there. They'll go nuts if you hit a couple of shots." On the other end, George Karl is saying to his team, "Focus now, don't wait, and don't foul their crazy shots." Chuck, why don't you explain that one?
Which the crazy shots, you're right, they have no place to go offensively. They're really going to have to execute in terms of pick and roll and basic plays in order to try to score.
1 out of 2 for Michael Smith. He's 3 for 6. That's not bad considering 38% from the line during the regular year. 10-point lead. Less than a minute and a half gone by in the fourth quarter. This is the crunch quarter in this series. The Sonics want to wrap it up tonight and get ready for the Houston Rockets. Double team on Payton and a turnover. Lionel Simmons to Edney. Edney takes it behind to Smith. Great pass to Michael Smith.
I thought he was going to try to take it all away. He knew who was behind him, made the play that he had to make.
8-point lead for Seattle. That was Edney's first assist of the game. Couldn't come at a better time. And it's out of bounds. Turned over by the Sonics. Timeout. And here is the turnover and the basket.
Payton got caught in a double team. Didn't see it. Here's the turnover. They're on the break. Watch Edney. Knows who's behind him. Dishes it off. Hello.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Car and Driver noted it's wider, longer, and taller than before. Edward Armand says,
"I'm amazed at its size. It's actually bigger than it looks."
Automobile Magazine calls it maybe the best family car ever made. And Maria Stylo adds,
"I love it. I've never gotten so many compliments."
the new Ford Taurus. Now with $600 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,945. Or get 2.9% APR financing. Hurry, offer ends soon.
STP Son of a Gun Protectant makes vinyl truly shine. Leather more lustrous. And rubber more brilliant and beautiful. It works so well, in fact, some people even use it on cars. Son of a Gun Protectant and new Son of a Gun Tire Glaze by STP.
Here's tonight's Dutch boy in the paint, and the Sonic forwards have had the edge over the Kings to the tune of 26-17 and a 10 rebounding edge. Seattle out-rebounding the Kings for the first time in the series to this point, 33-30, but the Sonics have turned it over 3 times in the first 5 possessions of the quarter.
Detlef Schrempf out of the game, got banged up a couple times. Bukowski's back in the game.
Billy Owens playing with 5 fouls. Edney with a spin move in the lane, short, air ball, but Michael Smith keeps it alive. Simmons for 3, and a couple of opportunities for the Kings, who still trail by 8.
Struggling with those outside shots. They've had some golden opportunities to get back in this game, but still kind of hanging around.
They have hung around this entire series, including a stunning upset in Game 2 in Seattle. Here's Sean Kemp against the double team. Goes up and the foul is committed by Dwayne Causewell.
Polonaises had a good rest. He's been out over 3 minutes. And he should be coming back into the game, which could give him some rebounding power and some possible offense.
Sonics ice cold, 2 for their last 14 from the field. Both Gary Payton, but Sean Kemp puts an end to that with a fine inside move. Kemp is 7 for 12 from the field, 15 points, and playing with 4 fouls. So the lead is 10 once again. Biggest lead, 14 by the Sonics. At one time, the Kings owned a 40-36 lead in the second quarter. Michael Smith working against Frank Burkowski. Feed inside. Oh, it's blocked by Kemp. And a foul. Second blocked by Sean Kemp. And Billy Owens commits his 6th foul and is fouled out of the game.
Well, right now, Gary St. Jean's offensively is trying to do it with mirrors. He doesn't have offensive people on the floor or shooting people. Here comes Barcelona's back, which could help. But Billy Owens has been a big part in this series.
He was a big part because they needed his ball handling against the pressure of the Seattle Sonics. So Owens fouls out, having scored 4 points. Acquired from Miami with Kevin Gamble and the Walt Williams, Tyrone Corbin deal at the trade deadline. And Gary Payton looking for a foul, picks up the loose ball, and this is the lay-in. Here's Kemp, not to be denied, has it stripped away and a foul is called. The Kings falling asleep on the defensive end. Let the ball hang loose, and Payton alertly picked it up.
Watch carefully. Here's Payton working into the lane, gets the shot up, no go. Kemp just takes over the lane. Second and third shots, gets fouled on that particular play. Surprised they haven't brought Pollinace back. They need him in the lane. Rebounding-wise and in scoring, Kemp misses the free throw.
1 for 5 from the line as Gary Payton has his arm worked on by Frank Furtado. Right arm, little spray action. Might have bruised it. Personal was on Lionel Simmons. 8:09 on the clock. Percy Hawkins will replace Payton in the Seattle lineup. Payton has scored 25 points tonight, including the 4 from downtown.
I can assure you he won't be there long because they need his directorship. He is terrific at getting the ball, knowing exactly where to go and who to get the ball to.
Kemp 2 for 5 from the line, and it's 83-72. Sonics lead by 11. They have been knocked out of the first round in shocking fashion the last 2 years. Lionel Simmons ties his season's high, 19 points and his second from downtown. And again, it's an 8-point game. They do not go away, the Sacramento Kings.
Every time you think they're going to blow it open, Seattle's going to blow it open, they come back and get it to 7 or 8.
Sean Kemp double teamed, leaving Burkowski open, misses the 3, and Nate McMillan gets a new clock for the Sonics. Hawkins with a drive. Second effort is good. And the Kings, you talked about fatigue in the last game. They look like they don't have enough to battle on the defensive ball.
They are not reacting well to the ball right now, and it's really costing them second shots in particular.
Remember, they've lost Mitch Richmond in the first half with an ankle injury. Scored 5 points. Michael Smith one-hands it. A fine, pretty move by Smith in the lane.
They took advantage. They're trying to force Tyus Edney to the baseline. He pitched back. Smith says, I'm just going to take it the hole. Why should I pass it?
But it's an 8-point game. And the Sacramento Kings won't leave town. Of course, this is their town, so they won't leave it. They'd like to leave it to go to Seattle for Game 5 Saturday. Kemp working baseline against Smith, and a foul as well as a basket. And what an exhibition of sheer strength and quickness by Sean Kemp.
One of the premier physical talents in the league, and you'll see why right here. Banged under the basket, still underhands it up and in.
It's 10-point lead, and it could be 11 when we return.
Beck's, the original import. Taste German beer at its finest. Beck's, America's favorite German beer.
Yeah. It's all good on the hardwood, remaining calm. My game is tight and the bomb like Sean. Simply on the mission when transition is the game. Steady on the game, it's the man who make it rain. Came on the scene, green at 19. Critics intervened, but I still made the dream. Now the whole world is mine to reinvent, where my skills represent like my name was Sean Kemp. Yeah, you better understand it. This is my planet.
No one knows why they play follow the leader.
But at least we know who they've been following. Sea-Doo, the best-selling boat in the world.
Beck's, the original import. Taste German beer at its finest. Beck's, America's favorite German beer.
Make no mistake, Spiff is here.
Sonics lead by 10 as we take a look at the Western Conference brackets. Well, first we'll tell you about Game 4 tomorrow night between the Spurs and the Suns. And now we're going to jump back to the Western Conference. After all, I knew we would. Houston eliminated the Lakers 3-1. This series hanging in the balance with Seattle ready to wrap it up. San Antonio and Phoenix. We talked about that game tomorrow. And Portland and Utah headed for a 5th game. TNT tomorrow night. And Kemp with a 3-point play gives the Seattle Sonics an 11-point lead.
Simmons working.
Pass into Smith. Blocked by Sean Kemp into the hands of Nate McMillan. That's the 3rd block of the game for Sean Kemp. He has indeed come alive. 6 points in this quarter, 19 in the game.
Askew got caught in a mix-up there. A mistake you won't see him very often make, just lobbed it out of bounds.
Interesting, Chuck, that Olden Polynice came out with 46 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter and has not come back.
Well, the interesting part is the way he came out. He raised his hands like he's saying, I'm finished for the night. And so far, that looks like the case.
Seattle was up by 8 at the time. They're up by 11 right now with 6:10 remaining. And Nate McMillan goes sliding, and a foul on Marciulionis, his 2nd personal foul. Gary Payton, you're right, Chuck, didn't stay on the bench for long. 25 points for Payton as he comes back in the game.
That was a tough substitution because Askew had just thrown the ball away. George immediately takes him out of the game. Whether he had planned in advance, sometimes the player will say, why did he do that and embarrass me in this kind of situation? I suspect it was already in the works before Askew made that particular turnover.
It just looks a little strange.
Not a happy camper.
Nate McMillan on the line for the first time tonight, missed his first free throw. Payton sat on the bench less than 2 minutes. So the lead is 12, 89-77. 6:09 to go for the Kings. 39-43 on the year. Shot the Sonics in Game 2 to extend the series. Edney loses it off his foot to Gary Payton, who lays it in or misses and draws the foul. Edney with the foul will send Gary Payton to the line.
And one of the reasons for that particular turnover, Tyus Edney is not being allowed to come off the screen. They force him back the other way. He just loses a handle off of his foot. Flick it ahead to Gary Payton, and when he's open in court, you're not going to catch him.
Payton's first free throw attempt rolls off. He's now 3 for 5 from the line.
And with 5:56 to go, we've watched this series. Can they make another run? They're still not out of it.
There's Olden Polynice with the towel over his head. The lead is 13. In the 4th quarter, in Game 3, the Sonics held the Kings to 4 for 20 shooting. They are 3 for 10 so far in the 4th quarter here in this one, and yet another turnover.
Forcing people to do what they can do. Smith driving, trying to make a very tough pass that only an outstanding guard or forward handler can make.
So poor shooting, and the Kings have turned it over 4 times, but you got to credit the Sonics' opportunistic defense. And Kemp out to Burkowski for 3. And Dwayne Caldwell with a rebound for Sacramento. 5:20 and a 13-point lead for Seattle. Edney fires a 3 and is fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 3, I believe. Yes.
Calling 2, I believe. I don't know for what reason. I was like you. I thought he was outside the line. I don't know if the signal was for 2 or 3.
He'll shoot 2. Chuck, you're right. He was right on the line. So Tyus Edney Sam Perkins will check in for Frank Burkowski. Burkowski, a big hero, Tuesday night's Game 3, hitting a key three-pointer in that game. Edney makes both free throws, and that brings the Kings to within 11.
Gary St. Jean went down to Olden Polonais, requesting perhaps, are you ready to go back in? And he's up, ready to go.
Polonais and Brian Grant getting set to come in for Sacramento. 8 on the shot clock. Perkins misses from downtown. Rebound by Simmons. This may be the run for the Kings if they are to make a run and stay alive in this series. It's the 4th game of the best of 5. Seattle leading 2 games to 1. Edney in the paint. Coswell loses it, and a 5th turnover here in the quarter. And a foul against Coswell. And the crowd here at Arco Arena almost sitting in realization that the end may have come for this team, as the Seattle Sonics, always tough when an 8 plays at 1, although the Sonics were stunned by Denver 2 years ago in 5 after winning the first 2.
Well, they had such, expectations, but not to the point where they're unhappy with their club. They like the valiant effort they played because they did not have a 500 year. And then, of course, losing Richmond that game, where do you go for your offense when your key player and maybe one of the only 2 or 3 people that can really score? Where do you go to get the points?
He had only 5 points when he went out in the 5-minute mark of the second quarter with a sprained ankle. Kemp with the free throws, and it's 92-79. 13-point lead for the Sonics. Four and a half minutes to play. Seattle trying to wrap it up in 4 games. Simmons fighting his way in, gets the basket.
Simmons having clearly his best game of the series, and maybe as good a game as I've seen him play in a long, long time.
21 points, Chuck, the season's high. His career high was 42 back in '91. His numbers have dropped over the years, but Lionel Simmons doing a great job off the bench tonight for the Kings. Detlef Schrempf travels and turns it over. 11-point lead for George Karl Sonics with 3:59 showing on the clock. Houston has already won, beating the Lakers to win that series in 4, and will play the winner of this game in a best-of-7 Western semifinal.
We'll see if the Kings have one more run.
Simmons fouled. And, of course, as you know, the Spurs and the Suns on TNT tomorrow night in Game 4 of that series. Hawkins with his 4th personal. Hersey picked up 3 early in the game and has not been a factor. 13 points tonight.
What's going to have to happen here is that the Sacramento Kings are going to have to try to get to the free throw line because they're struggling for shooting, and they're going to have to get stopped from the other end. But that is so tough against the Sonics team who play together so well, with the Paytons handling the ball, the Schrempfs handling the ball, Hersey Hawkins who can get to the basket. They create so many shots, they don't need set plays.
And a lot of the Kings may feel that maybe their best chance was Tuesday night in Game 3 when they had a 9-point lead into the 4th quarter. And a late rally by the Sonics overtook them. 1 free throw. They were outscored 21-6 down the stretch. Great defensive effort, and that may have been the best chance for the Kings. Crowd on its feet now. They're not giving up. Detlef Schrempf for 3. Perkins tries to keep it alive, but Coswell, who's in the lineup along with Polonais, gets the rebound. 10-point game. Every possession crucial now for the Sacramento Kings. Brian Grant has the ball stripped away by Gary Payton. Payton against Edney, spins his way in and gets a big basket. And it's 94-82 Seattle, and a timeout called by the Kings.
Watch Payton on this play defensively, or offensively, bring the ball. Watch the spin move. You should have seen the steal before that. That was the play.
I think we did.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Road and Track says the new V6 is a high-strung engine born to gallop. Chris Hayward said,
I'm surprised. A car this comfortable has that much pickup.
Automobile Magazine named Tora's Design of the Year. And Ray Wells agrees.
The new shape is just fantastic. Ford finally got me.
The new Ford Taurus. Now with $600 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,945. Or get 2.9% APR financing. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Fred Engel just bought fertilizer for the women's gymnastics team. The Garcias got a new love seat for America's boxers. Deborah Bishop just bought 5 dresses for the U.S. decathlon team. And Tony Johnson, a new garden hose for the U.S. mountain bikers. When you use your Visa card, Visa will make a donation to help all our Olympic hopefuls go for the gold. Like Jerry Graff, who picked out this new aquarium for the synchronized swimmers. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
You're no stranger to the sunrise. You know dedication is keeping a promise to yourself. You do what you dream about. You're going to Atlanta. What do you wear? Champion, outfit of the U.S. Olympic team.
Making it happen, and watch what happens when Gary Payton does what he does best. Grant thinks he has a little one, bangs in there. Payton strips him, and he's on the go, but he's not going to take it up on the right side. Watch what he does. Spins, goes with his left hand. What a great player.
28 points for Gary Payton, who had 29 in Game 1 to lead the Sonics to victory at home. 3 minutes remaining, as the Sonics have outscored the Kings 18-4 off of turnovers. Simmons misses the jumper, and it'll be Seattle's ball. Well, the Kings had not been in the playoffs in 10 years and had not won a playoff game since they had been in Sacramento.
There's been a certain resignation about midway through this half. I think without Richmond, they just couldn't generate enough offense.
Foul, no basket. The last win that the Sonics or the Kings had in the playoffs was back in '81 when the Kansas City Kings went to the NBA's Western Conference Finals and lost to the Houston Rockets in 7. So when they won the other night in Seattle, that was the most important victory in the franchise. And I think better days are ahead, even though they will go down. Nothing to be embarrassed to go down against the second best record in the NBA.
I think the interesting story is going to be Seattle. They're going to have to play against a class club, a club that has won an NBA title. How will they respond to it? They'll have the first 2 games at home. They've got to, take home court advantage. They weren't able to do it against Sacramento. Can they do it against a really class club?
Tyus Edney with the ball, 95-82 with 2.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Lionel Simmons with an air ball from the corner, rebound by Kemp. So the Sonics showing why they won 64 games. They were under a lot of pressure in this series because they met a resistance from the Sacramento team that no one really thought they would get.
I sense there won't be a lot of celebration. I think it's going to be more like a balloon with the air going out of it. Kind of a relief ball.
Hersey Hawkins with a 3, and that stretches the lead to 98-82. The 16-point lead is the largest of the game. Just under 2 minutes to go. High fives and smiles for George Karl and the Sonics as they advance in the Western Conference playoffs.
STP Son of a Gun Protectant makes vinyl truly shine. Leather more lustrous. And rubber more brilliant and beautiful. It works so well, in fact, some people even use it on cars. Son of a Gun Protectant, and also Son of a Gun Citrus Cleaner by STP.
From the terrifying bestseller, a deadly accident to a ruthless cover-up. An ex-cop drawn into a mystery. I'm gonna find you. That could cost him more than his life. Alec Baldwin, Terry Hatcher, Heaven's Prisoners. Rated R. Starts Friday, May 17th.
There's something about my hat that makes me feel mellow. When I wear it, I just want to chill. Some teams think I should wear it, even when I play. Get real.
Logo Athletic, authentic NBA licensed products.
Chuck, you were talking about the Sonics and the Rockets and Seattle having home court advantage there. 9 straight wins by Seattle over Houston, sweeping them, of course, 4-0 this year and out-shooting them 52% to 43. But somehow, I got to think the Rockets, Rudy Tomjanovich really rested his players, including Hakeem Olajuwon down the stretch, will be ready for this team.
I sense that they will be. It won't be easy, but this Seattle club presents a lot of problems for anyone they play. And I think once they get through this series, it's going to give them a lot more confidence. They had doubts about themselves. They will now take off like they played in regular season and really attack the Houston Rockets.
And you can say that the Sonics have done it really without Kemp playing a big part in the series, although tonight he has scored 21 points. Kings are out of timeouts. So that would be a technical foul if indeed Sacramento called the time. And we understand there will be a technical foul.
It'll be a short timeout, 45 seconds, because there was no action involved. Bobby Hurley in the game, who has not played throughout the series.
And he said it just eats me up inside that I haven't been able to play. But Bobby Hurley nearly lost his life in an auto accident 3 years ago, 8 hours in surgery. Terrible automobile accident right near Arco Arena, and the fact that Bobby Hurley has come back to even put on a uniform again is a triumph.
Yeah, it's a credit to him. He's worked hard to get back. Struggled a little bit more this year. He's going to have to get more strength, get his confidence back, but then he's got to fight people for minutes, and the drafting of Tyus Edney put him in a position where he couldn't get the minutes that he had in previous years.
Technical foul, Gary Payton. Percy Hawkins, that is, made it. So the technical gives the Sonics a 99-82 lead, and for the first time in the series, one team will go over the 100 mark unless Seattle is stuck at 99. Not likely.
I know there's 2 minutes left, but with a 17-point lead, I'm not sure. I want Kemp, Payton, and Shrimp on the floor.
Very good point. I think the message has been sent. The series is over. Coswell with the basket, 99-84. Once again, the Kings struggle from the field, however, in the fourth quarter, as they did in Game 3 here at Arco Arena. Hurley defending against Payton. Percy Hawkins driving the hoop, feeding Kemp. Kemp now with 23 points, despite 4 personal fouls, and a technical foul called against hanging on the rim. Called against Kemp.
George a little bit unhappy about that play. Here's the action. A little bit too much mustard on this one. Almost pulls it down. Wouldn't that have been something with 1:35 to go?
And Corliss Williamson, the rookie from Arkansas, makes the technical, and Kemp comes out 23 points. So it was George Karl and all of his teammates urging Shawn Kemp during the day off. Thursday night will be your night. And indeed it was, of course, combined with Gary Payton, who has 29 points to match his Game 1 output. And the Seattle Sonics win going away. Lionel Simmons. And the rebound by Steve Scheffler, who's come in the game. So Eric Snow, the rookie from Michigan State, Steve Scheffler in there now, along with David Wingate, players who have not seen action, Hawkins and Irvin Johnson, with 1:12 to go. And an offensive foul called against Scheffler.
Eric Snow leaving very quickly. Scheffler didn't have time to set the screen, gets called for the offensive foul.
Coming up after the game, Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios with a wrap-up of all of the action and highlights of tonight's playoff activity. And Magic Johnson, whose Lakers were eliminated, with a comment about his future. So we're as curious as you are about what Magic Johnson has said about his future after the Lakers were eliminated by Houston tonight in 4 games. And we know that Magic was frustrated and after the Game 1 loss, and it was not a pleasant series for the Magic men.
No, I think they were very disappointed. They had so much success last year. Magic did not play, and it was a young club who was coming along, and now to get eliminated, although when you get eliminated by the previous champion, it isn't quite as bad.
Well, the Sonics finally going to get rid of those ghosts of the first round. After losing to Denver and the Lakers in the last 2 years, the Seattle Sonics will advance beyond the first round. And for Hersey Hawkins, who has never gotten past the conference semifinals, this may be his best chance. He'll go into the semis against Houston. Final seconds, the crowd will give the Kings a well-deserved hand. They gave Seattle quite a battle in this first round. And 2 seconds remain. Lionel Simmons with 24 points. Edney with 16, the high scorers. Mitch Richmond went out with a ankle sprain in the second quarter with 5, and that really just about ruined any chance Sacramento had of extending the series. That'll do it. Seattle moves on. And the Sacramento fans give a standing ovation to their team, and they're only going to get better, Chuck.
Yeah, they have to get better. Struggling to get through this series, a key injury in the last game, a chance to win the 3rd game. Valiant effort, fans love it, and I think they're going to look at their roster and try to improve their club and move on. A very happy George Karl, and a lot of people celebrating because they know what it meant to George Karl.
So George Karl's Sonics advance beyond the first round for the first time since '93. They lost to the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. The two coaches, who are good friends, congratulate each other. Gary Payton with 29, Sean Kemp with 23, Hawkins with 17, and Detlef Schrempf nearly a triple-double with 13 points. And Seattle wins on the road for the 2nd straight game. Right now, let's send it over to Dick Versace.
I'm here with Gary Payton. Gary, after Game 2, you were very vocal about the monkey on the back. How do you feel now?
I feel good. I knew this team could do it all the time. We just had to settle ourselves down after the Game 2 loss. We came in here and we showed a lot of character by beating them twice at their home place.
And it was you again putting the team on your shoulders somewhat, providing the leadership that this team needs.
Well, the first 2 games, I thought I didn't shoot the ball enough. Coach didn't think I shot the ball enough. I was trying to get everybody in the game. I didn't want to go back to Seattle in Game 5, so I decided, I got to take a little bit more control, and that's what I did.
All right, what about your next opponent, the Houston Rockets?
It's going to be fun. We ain't played them in the playoffs in 2 years. They done won the championship 2 times, and they haven't played us. But they coming to our place, and we're going to try to make it a good series.
And it'll be 7 games, Gary.
Yeah, instead of that 5. I'm going to be happy about that.
All right, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, back to Chuck and Dick.
All right, we got Sean Kemp with us, 23 points. And I guess you would say about time things worked out for you in the series, Sean.
I say so. I tell you what, the most frustrating thing is just to be patient in this league. A lot of times you try to pressure yourself. You want to play well. You want to do a lot of things out on the basketball court. But I've been telling myself all week, just take it easy, be patient, let the game come to you. And I did tonight, and things worked out a lot easier.
I sensed tonight that your club really wanted to get you involved, including George Karl. They set a lot of high posts, which you would roll down, they'd swing and then dump it into you, and got you off, which was helpful, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. I think what George did is bring the ball to me early, keep me active, and let the double teams come to me, let me kick it out to the shooters, let her get an outside stroke on, and then come back inside and try to beat them from the free throw line.
You picked up 2 offensive fouls tonight on situations where you take the ball from the top of the key. it seems to me, as mature players you are, you've got to cut down on those kind of fouls to stay out of those kind of situations to win big games against class off the position.
Yeah, you know, the thing I'm going to have to do on defense, I'm really have to take a look here in the next couple days and slow myself down a little bit. You know, watch the fouls. The fouls is the key thing. I think if I can stay out of foul trouble during the first half, I'll be fine in the second half. But the thing is just to be patient. You know, you want to win, you want to come out, you want to do so well, especially after you struggle for 2 years. You try to press yourself a little bit, but I'm just glad things worked out tonight.
All right, Sean, now you got the Rockets. They've got a couple of tough customers inside. Tell me your thoughts going into that series.
Well, we got to deal with the dream now, and we got to deal with the outside shooters they got. They play with a lot of heart, a lot of intensity. They're a true champion. We got our work cut out for us, but the thing we got to play in Seattle, and we got our fans behind us, and we're looking forward to it.
Great game tonight.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Great
Appreciate
game.
it.
You know, one other question. Why have you been so successful against Houston? 9 straight victories.
I think what we try to do is we try to run. We try to move Olajuwon around a little bit. We try to be active on defense, use our hands, and, you know, make them drive the ball instead of spotting up for the three-pointer all the time. But, you know, it's playoff time. Things are going to change a little bit. We got to work a little harder now.
All right, Sean, thanks very much.
Thanks a lot,
guys. Ernie Johnson is going to have the wrap-up, and, of course, it'll be interesting what Magic Johnson has to say about his future in basketball. So that'll be coming up after the game. 101-87, the Sonics win and move on.
Y'all, we're Brooks and Dunn, and we want you to know your NASCAR on TBS.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Car and Driver noted it's wider, longer, and taller than before. Edward Armand says,
I'm amazed at its size. It's actually bigger than it looks.
Automobile Magazine calls it maybe the best family car ever made. And Maria Stylo adds,
I love it. I've never gotten so many compliments.
the new Ford Taurus. Now with $600 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,945 or get 2.9% APR financing. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Check this out.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Yeah, that's right, my friend. You're not getting through. Ow, that hurt. See ya. Oh, here comes another one. Oh, look, everybody, it's Miss Always Get Through. 1-800-CALL-ATT.
In South Dallas, a lot of folks like to work on their cars, and a lot of them come to AutoZone. They save money on top-quality parts, and they find helpful people, like Rocky Brown. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but Rocky's the kind of guy folks go out of their way to see. He's good at solving problems, and he really knows his parts. You see, when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
People say in the town of Flatwoods, the most exciting thing to do is sit around and watch the paint dry, especially when it's Behr Premium Plus, only from Home Depot.
It's going on so smoothly.
Nice color.
It's 100% acrylic. It's like putting a plastic shell on your house.
And since Behr has a 15-year guarantee, these people know they won't be seeing this much excitement again for quite a while. Behr Premium Plus, the premium paint with a Home Depot price.
The NBA playoffs on TBS are brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? AT&T, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. And by the more than 1,200 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
All right, Ernie Johnson back at you from our TBS Atlanta studios. So the Seattle Supersonics are through. No first-round knockout this time around. They're the ones doing the knocking out as they eliminate Sacramento. So the Sonics move on to the Western Conference semis where they will meet the world champion Houston Rockets. Houston doing away with the Los Angeles Lakers tonight at the Summit. The final score 102-94 as Akeem Olajuwon scored 25 points. Here's a story on the night, though, folks. A lot of people asking about Magic Johnson's future. And he made it clear after the game that he's had enough of this power forward stuff. He wants to go back to the point, and if the Lakers won't accommodate him, he wants out.
Well, if the Lakers say, hey, we want to play Nick there exclusively, we can't play you at backup behind him. We can't play you there. You're going to have to stick at this position. I have no problem. I'm a grown man. I can deal with that. And I just say, okay, thanks. It's been nice. Then there's 5, 6, 10 other teams I know that already want me, so that's no problem. You know, then I just go elsewhere.
During that post-game press conference, a reporter asked Magic, how about the city you're in right now, the Houston Rockets? And he said, yeah, that's a team that's about winning championships. He would consider them. So stay tuned for the latest on Magic. In the Eastern Conference tonight, we still don't know who's going to play the Orlando Magic in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Indiana and Atlanta will need 5 games to settle this thing. The Hawks could not seal the deal on the home floor. Indiana wins at the Omni 83-75. They'll play Game 5 in that series Sunday at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis. We're back at you tomorrow night. You'll have to flip to TNT for this one. The Spurs and the Suns playing Game 4 with San Antonio on top 2-1. Here on TBS tonight, the Seattle Supersonics have done it. They've knocked out the Sacramento Kings. Go back to Dick Stockton and Chuck Daly for a recap, guys.
All right, Ernie, thank you very much. So the Sonics will go on to face the Rockets. Seattle out-rebounding the Kings for the first time in the series, and the 1-2 punch, the best they played in the series, 52 for Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. Mitch Richmond really left Sacramento with a lot of air out of the balloon when he left with injury with 5 points. So as we take a look at the brackets now, it'll be the Sonics and the Rockets in the West, and San Antonio and the Utah-Portland thing still up in the air with the Spurs leading 2-1. And Utah-Portland series tied 2-2. Game 1 between the Sonics and the Rockets will be played Saturday in Seattle on NBC. So, Chuck, we move along, and it's going to be interesting with the second-best team in the NBA record-wise, Seattle, against the 2-time defending champions.
Yeah, I was surprised at their record against them, having won the 9 consecutive games, but I think you can throw all of that out with the injuries that Houston had. It'll be an interesting series. Seattle has the home court, and this win and this series may propel them to where they want to go, at least to the finals of the West.
You're very dapper with this handkerchief. I have to point that out to you.
Thank you very much. We're going to get you a couple.
Okay, great. I appreciate it. Lionel Simmons was the high point man for the Kings, coming off the bench with 24 points, but that'll take care of this series as Seattle wins 2 games on the road and advances, beating the Kings 101-87. Once again, that's the final score. Want to remind you on TBS, the Braves are scheduled to start Greg Maddux against the Phillies tomorrow. First pitch at 7:35. Coming up next, it's Rocky IV starring Sylvester Stallone. So for Chuck Daly and Dick Versace, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from the Arco Arena in Sacramento.